at 2 p.m. Until then, go get them, Adara and Sharif.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif. We're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream, and we'll do the old-fashioned roll call, shout everybody out. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Monday. So far, these here markets are volatile, baby. That's what we like as intraday traders. No volatility equals no trade. There we go. We got Easy Trader. We got Mr. Jonathan and Matt Easy on ROC joining us as well. Cesar Sandoval. We got Day Trader Cut, Trader Life, Bot Rex, Daryl Finch, Juan Padilla. We got Brett. We got Matthew, Jeremy, Yannick as well. Not Yannick Sweater, just Yannick. We got Chef Joe. We got Oliver, Blind Leader. We got Bristol, Gatekeeper. He is keeping the gates. Watch,
How dare he? No,
Adara.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Lionel Martinez, BGZ, Red Pool joining us as well. Bitcoin Trader, as well as my man Gorev. Let's go to you two as well. We got Why Not. We got Richard Finn and Mike Walter. Hold my beer. He said, someone say Adara? Question mark. I think he's a fan.
They did.
Yeah.
Hi.
We got Dan Emmons, go long, boom, long, NQ from 70 points ago, says Dan, the dang man Emmons. Shout out to him. And now it is time to say good morning to Adair.
Hi, good morning to you, Sharif. How are you doing this fine Monday?
It's good. Everything is good. Spent a lot of time on the beach. The weekend
like you
was
did,
nice and
yeah.
chill. Yourself?
My weekend was good. I did an exorbitant amount of sleeping, even by my standards, like literally so much sleeping. But you know, we're awake now. We're here. I will say I'm going to be in the sim today and maybe also tomorrow. It's a personal choice.
Fair.
It's just because last week was not my steez. It was not my vibe. I didn't like the type of trading I was doing. I think I'm kind of coming into a bit of a playbook and a bit of a plan, but I want to have a couple days to just breathe, focus just on the quality of the trade. So I'm still getting my sim set up right now.
Take your time.
I just said set up twice in a row. That's cool. But PDD I'm looking at. I'm kind of interested. I haven't viewed that one in a while. Meta, I was just saying to Sharif, if there is one Mag 7 name that looks less dead cat bounce-esque, it's going to be Meta for me because we're coming into VWAP on that 520 level. So I do like Meta. I also like NVIDIA coming into 127. So there's a couple names I have eyes on. Again, I will be in the sim, but the trading will still be made real, and it would be how I would be trading live.
Love it. All right, guys. I'm looking at Apple right now. I'm looking at a lot of the Mag 7 names. And quite frankly, I'm not feeling this bounce. I'm feeling dead cat bounce-ish. I was looking last night. I was doing charting, and I kind of feel that we sell off for a few days. And I still am of the opinion we don't make new all-time highs until after the election, but that's just my bias. So I'm looking short today. And as Adair mentioned, Meta getting the gnarliest of bounces off that big boy move down. 528 the high, essentially 515 at the low. The volume weighted average price right at that 520. And the third area, Meta just kind of coming into that area right now, rejecting and not really moving through there. But we'll keep tabs on all the Mag 7 names to see if this recovery off the low is sustainable or whether it is just, you know, excuse the expression, but a dead cat bounce. Keeping an eye on the future, obviously. You know how I love my 100-point levels. Shout out to Big Spile Burdette, who kept yelling, money, 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 money. I wonder why. This will give you an idea right here. Just look at these candles, and then you'll know why Big Spile is happy. Shout out to Dan the Man Emmons as well. Keep your eye out on in the chat for their levels. They're always talking about that. So these are the Mag 7 names. Nothing for me to trade yet until we're done the lesson du jour. So today, we are talking about the rate of change, a much lesser known momentum oscillator, but very important one as well, and one that could absolutely help you, step up your trading game. So let's get right to it. So let's, as we typically do, just explain things in a very layman's or a very basic way. So the rate of change, otherwise known as ROC, is a momentum oscillator, as I just alluded to. It measures the percentage change in the price over a specified period. Now, specified period, who remembers N class, or math class, the variable N? So in this case, we're gonna be using N to basically put the period in that we want. So we're gonna be measuring different rates of change over different periods. So, and that is helpful because not everybody trades off the same time frame. All right, so essentially what it does is it helps to identify, like the RSI does, these overbought and oversold conditions, as well as the change in the rate of price movement. So you can gauge overbought, you can gauge oversold, and how quickly something is moving up or down. And this is quite important. You've seen Obi draw his trend lines, what he calls speed lines sometimes, to try to gauge the inclination or disinclination of the trend. And so this is kind of one of those ways to gauge that rate of change, and it's a quantifiable way. Here's the math equation for my math nerds out there. Not like we're going to use it because the software does all the math for us. So it's the ROC, which is essentially is the closing price of today minus the closing price of n periods ago divided by the closing price of n periods ago multiplied by 100. There is the math equation. Use it if you like, but otherwise the software does all the charting. By the way, I should tell you that n here is the number of periods used in the calculation. Okay, so when you do this, when you use this and you want to look at it at a 2-week window, then it's 10 days. If you're looking at 3-week, it's 15 days, right? We're looking by the trading days. So make sure to keep that in mind when selecting your end periods. It's not calendar days, it's trading days. So how do we interpret the readings from the rate of change indicator? Well, a positive ROC indicator, this will indicate to you that the price is closing higher than it did n periods ago. So you have something, a standard off which to compare. A negative ROC, conversely, indicates that the price is closing lower than it did n periods ago. And the divergence here is important. How many times have we talked about using price action indicator divergence? This is one of those times. So when the ROC, the rate of change, diverges from the price, it can signal a potential reversal. For example, if the price is making new highs, for example, but the ROC, the rate of change, is making the lower highs, it could signal a bearish divergence. Not going to show you graphs on this. I think everybody really understands what price is making new highs and what ROC making lower highs means. Kind of just basic stuff. So some common ROC periods, we talked about the fact that N was going to be your selected period depending on what time frame you're trading. So some common rate of change periods include the 9, the 12, and the 26, but they are by no means, I should say, the gold standard. They're just some of the more commonly used ones. However, the optimal period, as I kind of alluded to here, will depend on the time frame off which you're trading in your specific trading style. Are you a shorter term guy? Even if you're a swing trader, are you a 1 or 2 week swing trader, or are you a 1 and 2 month swing trader? They're not the same. So it behooves you to really work with this variable here, N, figure out what works best for you. So how do you use the rate of change? As we know it's a momentum oscillator. So what's the move here? So first and foremost, you can use it, like we alluded to earlier, to identify those overbought and oversold conditions. So when the ROC reaches the extreme levels, like for example, above 90 or below 90, so plus 90 or minus 90, it can suggest that the market is overbought or oversold. So kind of think about this 90 on the ROC indicator, kind of similar to the 70 or 30 on the RSI. We're above 70, you're overbought, you're below 30, you're oversold. Just think about it as 90 and minus 90. Kind of an easy way to remember. But it's not just good for or usable for gauging overbought or oversold. No, it also helps you confirm trends. So a rising rate of change indicator here can confirm an uptrend, while obviously a rate of change going down confirms said downtrend. Obviously, this means price action, rate of change convergence, not divergence in this case. And last but not least, the one that I just alluded to here, the divergence. Identifying divergence is super important. I would submit to you, this is the better move. Rather, you already know the price is making higher highs. You don't need the rate of change to tell you the price is making higher highs. You already know that. You see it on the price chart. What you want to know is if the end of the good times or the end of the bad times are coming. So you're looking for a leading indicator. And I would submit to you, this is possibly one of those ones. When there is price action, rate of change diverges, whether north or south. And so the rate of change versus other oscillators. We don't really want to, this versus that. It's really about which one is better in a certain environment or a certain market condition, as well as which other ones you can use with the rate of change. Let's talk about that. So the ROC is similar because it is a momentum oscillator to like the RSI as well as stochastics, which are both momentum oscillators. However, the rate of change is a little different. it focuses specifically on the rate of change of the price, while the RSI or stochastics consider other factors that are beyond the scope of the rate of change. So it gets more nuanced over there. Here it's a little bit more basic. So if you're looking at, filtering out the noise that may not, jive with your trading style, maybe this is one of the more pure indicators there. So some tips for using the rate of change. First and foremost, like we talked about with moving averages last week, experiment with different periods. I submitted to you that the 9, the 12, and the 26 were the most commonly used, but I made that very clear. The caveat was that they're by no means the gold standard, and it's incumbent upon you to figure out which one works for your style. So try different rate of change periods and find the one that works the best for your trading style and your time frame. And also look to combine it with other indicators. The rate of change can be combined with other indicators such as moving averages, Bollinger Bands, or even other momentum oscillators to see, am I getting an overbought reading on the RSI but not necessarily on the rate of change? The fact that both of them are not pointing to overbought or oversold may be instructive or enlightening in of itself, because these are all what we call momentum oscillators. So if one says you're not overbought and the other one says you are, that is something to consider there. So just keep in mind that you don't have to combine it with other types of indicators. Absolutely can be combined with other momentum oscillators as well. And last but certainly not least, remember or learn about the limitations of this indicator. The ROC can generate, sadly, some false signals, especially in choppy markets and during periods of high volatility. Where have we heard that before? Oh, that's right. From last week, moving averages. All but useless during choppy markets, because you're going to have umpteen amount of crossovers and false signals, as well as very volatile markets where the news just spikes. Moving averages tend to do poorly in those circumstances. I would submit to you the rate of change falls into that category as well.
You tell him, Sharif. You tell him about those trends. Yeah, like I said, I'm still getting my sim set up here. Again, to clarify, guys, I am in the sim, and I'm in the sim today because I want to continue to be able to be live. By that, I mean this was a choice I made last week. I had a very red week. I believe I was red every single day last week. It was not a vibe, and I think I want to hunker down because I don't dislike all my ideas. I got shut down on Thursday. Then I had a trade in the SPY that was absolutely playbook. It's a trade that I would have taken live, but I took it in the sim, and so that kind of made me feel like, hey, Adara, you still have ideas. Your brain is not broken. You're not dead to the world.
Love it.
You just need a moment to recuperate. Just focus on taking some of those playbook trades. So that's what I'll be doing. With that in mind, what type of playbooks am I looking for? One thing you guys know, and Sharif was talking to me about this at the desk as well. I love my spready names. One spready name on watch here is going to be Sedge. Solar Edge, definitely if you were kind of forming this hockey stick pattern here to the downside, if you would have been told, hey, this was up 10% this morning, and you went, I wouldn't blame you for being shocked. Look at how sharply we sold off here. We're basically at low of days. To me, this looks like what Sharif calls the hockey stick pattern. You have a downward move, you consolidate a little bit in a slightly curved way, and then you quadunk. I don't want to get involved in this because I don't have levels, but I was watching how the spread on this moves. I'm comfortable playing the spread on SEDG. Lots of dark prints here. The dark purple mauvey eggplant, that's my dark red, just to translate my order book for you guys. So, or my, not my order book, my
17
time of sales. So that's something worth noting here for Sedge. Also, PDD here, I like at this 111 area, or not 111, 101 area, that 100 level. I want to see what we do here because we had we had a huge topping tail candle here before we quadrupled from that level. If we hold 100, I'd like to go long. The spread's getting tighter. I've always said if I find the spread getting tighter and then I see us climb up on the bid, cent by cent, to me that's a very bullish look. So I want to see what happens here. We're holding on to that $100.60 level beautifully on the order book as of right now. So I want to see what we do with that level. That's my take right now. We just gave it up on the bid, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Also, you guys know I like my SPY scalps, whole dollar or key levels. SPY 560 was a level I was so passionate about. I was yelling at Sharif about it last week. I was like, I'm not going to be able to be on the show, but SPY 560, SPY 560. I was yelling to Obi about it. I was making everybody hear my analysis there. Look at that PDD. Look how we hold that $100.60 level, Sharif. We just got our first pushback on the day. Look at how we held this level. Honestly, we gave it up for half a second, and PDD is like, wait. Let's go back to slapping the ass. So interesting look here for PDD. I want to see what we do with that $100.60 level. If there's any stocks that you want to see what happened there. Do you want to know why Sharif just made a very happy looking sound over there next to me? Let us know in the chat. Exclamation point join space $ ticker. 5 tickers. The 5 that are chosen will be analyzed by Sean and by Neil. The Seanfidence, the Neilage. They will give you the heat on those tickers. But right now I want to hear all the heat on what you just did there because I like those triangles and I like the sound you just made with that.
All right, Adara. So I got stopped out on the first one for a 10-penny loser, and then the second one we got in and we took a 25-penny winner. I'm still holding a piece. Look, it broke the 10 exponential on 5. I'm talking about AAPL. I was biased, a rejection at the 10 exponential on the 5. I'm going to bring in my side chart in a second. It breached it. It wicked into the 20, and I said, I'll be danged. Go, dead one. I'll be danged if I don't get in on the 20 because I'm very bearish today on these markets. And I punched in at the 20 again, and I'm still holding a piece. We're short 03s. Here comes low 60s. I like this trade. I think we could get down into 224. This is an ugly, ugly rounded top over here on the dead one. If we continue to come down, AAPL, sorry. If we continue, look at this topping tail candle. Touches a 20, the subsequent candle, lower high, lower low. I'm looking for that rounded top and then come back down. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. I'd like something in and around 224 and a quarter to 224. I'm sorry, I keep itching here. I got bit by a wasp on Friday, by the way.
Don't apologize. The wasp should apologize, Sharif.
The wasp died, Katina, man, which is fine. I absolutely made sure it was dead, and I left it out there to send a message to all the other wasps.
Oh,
right? Yeah, absolutely, Adara. He's going to take a piece of me. I'm going to take a piece of him. Get down, dead one. There we go. We take it at 50 Adara. We just took 50 pennies just like that on Apple. All right, come down, Mr. Dead One. I want to get back here at 224. If we get back into 224, there's an obvious level of support. We consolidated, whiffled and waffled around that area. I'll be getting back in there as a possible long if we do get back in there. So in Apple, just got out of Apple, excuse me. Now what's the next trade here? I'm looking right now at Meta. Shout out to the Obe. He is the one, Kenobi, with me on Friday. Shout out to him, doing an absolute job. Thank you, Adara, and for all the good vibes there. Adara was in the chat dropping hot lines, by the way.
I was gassing you guys up in the chat.
I loved it. Yeah, look, Meta's been whiffling and waffling at 520. We saw the Katina man with a $100 winner this morning on META, and I joke, obviously, but he had a big 5 banger. Yeah, 5 banger there, Adara. He killed it on that. It's whiffling and waffling at the volume weighted average price exactly at 520 and a third. We are below 520 with now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 5-minute candles, all of which have rejected the volume weighted average price on Meta. I like a possible short here. What's your look?
Yeah, I just took my first trade of the day here. I'm long PDD. So you guys know what level I like on PDD. I like that $100.60 level. But the thing is, if I went long that level, I don't really know what I would risk into. And I've said this before, sometimes what you got to do is flip the style up. If they hate, let them hate. I mean, and watch in this case the sim money, because again, to clarify for those coming in late, I am in the sim. You got to let that sim money pile up. Now, to be clear, do I feel fabulous about getting long a name that is down a cool 28% almost on the day? No, I do not. And I made this mistake with Snowflake. I will fully admit this was a mistake on Snowflake. Going long because we were SSR, and I was like, oh, we're going to get the SSR mounts. No. To be clear, my second long on Snowflake had actually decent levels. I should have gotten out way sooner. My first long on Snowflake was just an L with a capital L. It was gross. But this PDD, I like this level because that $100.60 level, I watched that form of support. I watched that form of support in the book. I watched that form of support in the tape. Now I'm watching us give it up. So thanks, PID. We're going to have to get out of PID here because it does not want to give me that level. I should have maybe given this a little bit more room. Okay, we're going to push back higher here and see what we do. But if we can't hold that $100.60 level, I'll be getting out. To clarify, I was willing to risk 40 cents on PDD because I was trying to take minimum here, 102.60. So I was trying to get like $1.60, risking 40 cents. I do not mind those odds at all. But as alas, as we push decisively below that $100.60 level, we got to get out here. The management here is a little gross. I have to say, I'm not super pleased as punch with what was going on here. Now we got part filled. Now we're not getting filled, even though we arguably should be getting filled here on PDD. I would like to say, oh wait, am I still in this? How am I still in this? Our PDD? Yeah, so I want to say here, I need to check if I'm still in this, if the position board is doing things. Okay. I am apparently still in this trade. Oh, it's because I accidentally got more. Okay, sorry guys, this is, wow, we're off. We're very off today. I will say to you guys, one thing I want to be aware of, if you are at all involved in some of these spready tickers, is that I've even noticed if you're long and you're trying to get out of the short, because you would think usually it'd be more of an issue if you're short, right? With the sometimes getting filled on these. If you're long, sometimes you can still struggle to get out in PDD. To clarify, I meant to get out, then actually add it to the position because I guess thought I was a short. So clearly, good thing I'm in the sim. That's what I'll use this as, right? Good thing I'm in the sim for right now. You got to find silver linings, even if your silver lining is actually not silver and kind of rusty and gross. You got to find ways to keep going, keep pushing. I know Sharif is going to give us a little thank you in a second, but I do want to look after at Lulu and Snow for Courtney Smith really quickly. Shout out to Courtney Smith. These are two takers I was just maligning Snowflake, but I was really maligning my own bad decisions as Snowflake. Lulu, though, I love trading Lulu on earnings, and I have to say, Lulu finding support at this 257, highly specific 258 level, I love this. Look at this push up here, consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. We drop lower, but look where we come to bounce. That 258, I think Lulu 258 is a nice little level. I think if Lulu can eclipse that 280, that'd be a great look. I know they did get a price target decrease this morning, but it wasn't a downgrade, so not a bad look. I think 280 for Lulu would be a nice little level for us to push above if we can stretch, in those laggings up above that level. Really quickly as well, I want to look at Snow, because we know Snow was falling, Snow was melting, Snow was whatever really on the nose pun you want to use for Snowflake after those earnings. Snow actually volume today,
Two.
Yeah, I mean, Sharif, look at the support on Snow.
It's good.
High or low here at
Adira.
114. This is beautiful. This is majestic. This is like a little horse pony galloping into the sunset. That being said, I see some very clear resistance in that sunset, perhaps a cloud on the horizon. It's going to be 123. Look at, we wake into 123 twice, push above, come again to 123, blip, blip, kuduk. Now we come again. Look from whence we could do on earnings, Sharif. It's 123. If Snow cannot break above 123, I'd be prepared for another flurry for this one. Yeah, this has been a really fun, a fun day here so far, even though I just took a massive L in front of y'all on PDD in the sim. But, as 21 Savage says, taking less L's, making more M's. And maybe that starts with, hey, remembering what side you're on. If you're in a long, why are you trying to get out by buying shares, Adira? Food for thought. But also, we have to thank our lovely sponsors here at Benzinga Pro.
Adira, are you tired of being late to the trade? I know you're not, because you got Benzinga.
Well, thank you.
Are you always playing catch-up in the market? Neil says yes. Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news, while Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage, guys. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If so, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. I'm sure that's what this handsome older gentleman in this video keeps talking about. He wants to know if you're late to the trade, and if you want to join a thriving community of traders. Shout out to him, and shout out to everybody there. Benzinga, Katina, man, he's like 20 years your senior, brother. All right. So Apple's right back up. Here we go. It's right back at the 20 exponential. It made me feel like a dang fool for saying I'd be looking for a 224 drop, because now we have a higher low, and if we break above this area crest where I got in short over here, that'll be a higher high. So possibly looking now at 225.5. where the volume weighted average price is. 225.5 is where VWAP is sitting on my 5-minute chart, and I'm seeing the winds of change possibly come in on these markets vis-a-vis this now clear 19.6 take on the future. So we're above 19.6 by some distance, about 30 points. And now I see a message from Dan the Dang Man Emmons. There was no bid for the first hour of regular trading RTH. There is now. That's what he's saying. That's kind of what it feels like, Dan. So thank you for your look there. And Ram, as we look over here, we're getting a bigger move on a lot of these Mag 7 names. It's not obviously the future in isolation moving through 19.6. You got an aggressive breach of the volume weighted average price on Meta. And this is an area I was looking short. So now I need to rethink my bias. My bias now looks like it is wrong. Okay? Because This is looking like it could be an inverse head and shoulders here on Meta if it ends up manifesting that way. Left shoulder head, right shoulder. Obviously, we're going to have to let it manifest before we act upon it. But this Meta really bamboozled me. I was looking for a 520 and a third rejection. This thing shot up to 522 and it's still going here, looking to take the 50 period on the 5. So yeah, good move back up here for the futures. I don't really want to be jumping into the long real quick either, in case that this is kind of let's get all the bulls trapped kind of situation. I don't want to be a part of that kind of situation either. But to point out the stronger names at the moment, definitely Meta, because it is the only one trading above the volume weighted average price. And by one, I'm talking about the Mag 7. All of the rest are either at or below VWAP. Amazon just got into VWAP and rejected it. Microsoft did the same thing, came into VWAP and rejected it. The other guys are not there. So we're going to keep an eye on their stronger name. It was, obviously the weaker name because somebody on this stage had a 5-banger on it. So shout out to him. I know Neil was at least in a 2-banger on this one when I saw. I don't know where he covered. So shout out to him.
Did you see the super chat from Fran? Oh my God.
Look, bro.
Oh my God.
Bro. You need to do a better job of protecting your children, straight up, right? You can't send your children out on suicide missions like that.
Okay, just to clarify, in case anyone is not looking at the chat, the super chat from Fran says, I am Wasp's father, how could you, Sharif? In case you were like, what is Sharif talking about? Because I just realized you did not read the chat.
I got bit by a wasp there. But I want to shout out the OG Darwin as well. Darwin's always making me laugh. He's like, why does Sharif remember his first purchase at Lululemon again? And I'm like, I know why. Because it was 2006 and I spent over $100 on gym pants. Yeah. I know that's common now, but it was not common almost 20 years ago. So that's why I remember Darwin. Shout out to you, my man. You're always making me laugh. Don't forget, guys, Lulu reports this week. Raymond, what's going on here? I'm looking over here. I'm looking over here. I'm looking over here. She's playing games with me. She keeps moving the camera. Stop it, Raymond. Yeah, so Lulu reports this week, guys. And we have a lot of retail earnings. Dollar. We got Nordstrom tomorrow, right?
JW, I think it's tomorrow Wednesday, I know, yeah.
No, I think it's tomorrow.
Oh, right, sorry, tomorrow.
It's a different day than NVIDIA.
We
have Dollar something or in a Dollar Tree or Dollar General.
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree?
Dollar General the week after, I believe, yeah.
The week after? Okay. I'm just going to remind everybody what we got real quick since I have the opportunity to do it now, and then we'll start talking about this. Okay, tomorrow, the bigger reporter, Sentinel-1, which got an upgrade today, don't forget that. Then Nordstrom, then Wednesday. The big day. This is the biggest of the days. NVIDIA, CrowdStrike, Li Auto, Kohl's, Salesforce, Abercrombie, Affirm, Foot Locker, HP, Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Chewy. No, I know. Yeah, that's back on the OTCs, baby. And then Thursday, more retail Adara, Burlington, Best Buy, Dollar General, American Eagle, Lulu. Then we got Dell, we got Campbell's, we got Polestar. Speaking of Polestar, oh baby, Polestar's up 13% today as a result of Canada putting tariffs on the Chinese electric vehicles. Now we follow suit. All of North America now gonna be protectionists against Chinese EVs. Mexico's got it. United States has got it. Now Canada's got it. If it comes into North America, it's gonna be taxed here, Adara. So it looks as if it's gonna be a bit of a tougher look for these Chinese EVs going forward in North America.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, XPeng, though, we did have XPeng up initially there on that news with regards to its CEO buying some more shares, getting some more shareage, as Sharif might say, in XPeng. But I'm in PDG and I want to talk about it. Again, Sam, I am in the Sam. I just want to clarify for disclaimer's sake, Sam. But I'm really proud of this trade because sometimes the market punches you in the face. Sometimes you forget you were long and you try to get out of the trade by buying shares, ? And then things get messy. But then you come back in. And why did I get back in PDD here? Let me tell you. Well, I really, really, really liked this $100.60 level. I talked about this ad nauseum. I loved that level. So I said, Adara, this comes. We're getting a little weak here. You could risk this into the $100 level. You could risk 40 cents because you want all the smoke. We just took $1 on PDD, guys, in the sim dollar, paper dollar.
Doesn't matter.
But basically, thank you. I appreciate that. It's about the process. That's why I'm back in the sim in the first place. Right? It's about the process. So yeah, did I get chopped up on that first short or first long? Absolutely. Did I manage it questionably? Oh, you bet. But was I ready to come back when I saw the same stuff I liked? Yeah. So we didn't even get to 101s. The most we went into was $100.70. I was like, cool. If we break below that $100, you add some shares, then you get out break even. At that point, our break even was going to be $100.30. I was like, dope, coolness. We did not get back above $100. I was like, okay, PDD, show me what you got. I got out half the position here at 60s, not just because it was $1 in the money with the other half of the position, but also because that was that area we wicked into earlier a couple times. So I thought 60s could form a little bit of resistance. As you can tell, it is. We are struggling with 60s. I'm cool with getting out the rest of this flat. If we get back above 100s, I will have to say bye to PDD. But I got to say, I'm pretty proud. It does feel pretty darn delicious, for lack of a better term. I had to build off a pun that Ramin once made. So give me the bang button there. To be able to get back in this. Did the first trade go well? No. But if you still see stuff you like, and we've talked about this, Obi and Neil have talked about this a couple times, sometimes the trades are sweetest once you tried it the first time, it didn't work out, and you're ready because you've already seen what you want to see. You've seen how the book moves. Let's see if we can get $1 here in PDD. That being said, I'd probably be looking to get out here. Okay, a little bit of resistance at 99.01s, bit of resistance as well at 98.50s. We're going to see if we can break below 99s here. It looks like we might want to. The other thing I want to say too with PDD is I've talked a lot about my umbrella handle pattern. And that's when you've got a bit of you have a downward move, then it looks like we're going to reject and move the other way, but the reversion is fake. The reversion man has not come on your door. Obi and the reversion man have not come to the door, and we still have that more downside move. So look at this umbrella pattern. We have this big sharp green move. Had I looked at the 10-minute before, I wouldn't, or the 15, which is what I'm looking at now, but you see it on both, I would not have gotten long because this looks very umbrella-ish to me. So alas, I followed that umbrella and I got underneath, prepared for more showers to the downside. I don't like how we bounced off 99s here. I'm going to get out in 99.01s because, like I said, that was an area I was kind of intrigued by anyway. If we get back to 99.01s, I will be outie of my PDD. And if we get back at all to that $100.60 level, I'd be very interested in getting back in. I am really happy that I went back with this trade, that I took a shot, because you do miss 100% of the shots you don't take and 100% of the trades you don't make. Isn't it funny how that works out? What else is going on here? Kava putting out dinners today.
I saw that.
Yeah, that Kava's been, I saw lots of comments about Kava there. I'm sure that you're saying Opa if you're in Kava to use that, because they're Mediterranean, right? So I think that's same general region, perhaps, any chance. But yeah, a nice little look here for Kava. Wow. Look at that VWAP bounce here. This is the third pushback. There's a lot of pushbacks in this here market, Sharif. Look at that 125.80. Rejection.
Bang.
Support. Higher. Now we're trying to break that top here of that 127.60. I am out of PDD, dollar in the money on both parts of the position, so please just punch with that. Again, in the sim, but the trading was real. So let's see what we do here on this Kava. Kava might get a spot in my side chart. Sedge is not doing very much, so Sedge is going to get edged out here, sedged out for Kava, because I want to see what kind of Mediterranean cooking I can be getting in that name. How are you doing, Sean?
I got a lot of small cap gappers to talk about over here at Dara, so let's get right to it. Just remind me, what year is it again? Oh, it's 24. I thought it was 2020 because I saw GIVO moving.
Woo!
I haven't seen GIVO move. Neil, do you remember GIVO? Look at the chart. Do you remember this stock from 2020? 2020, late 2020, early 2021. I can't forget the name because my hairdresser used to be called GIVO, and it was just like, you know, just perfect. It was so apropos there. Anyway,
that's amazing.
GIVO getting a move here. Look, the move started Friday. Let's be honest here. Top to bottom on Friday, we were up 16 some odd percent. Today, we continue with that move from the closing print to the top. Over here, we're up 22 some odd percent. So this one knocking on the door of that $1 trade, high a day, 9.998. So we are very close to that $1 breach. Haven't looked at the time in sales or the level 2 quite yet to see how the orders are stacking up, but I know that we've been very much respecting the 10 exponential on the 5, basically since the bell has rung. So GEVO absolutely in play today. Here are the details. $237 million market cap. Light on volume, though, quite frankly. Only about 3.9 million shares traded so far. The float's large, about 225 million shares. And let's bring down trade ideas and shout out to Nos Boss and his crew talking about the rotation trade today. If you missed that, you can go back on the morning show and watch the Nos drop hotlines. 10.6% of the 225 million share float is shorted or borrowed for short. Now it is a $1 technically high a day, so that print does come in there. We're going to keep eyes on GEVO. I'm very interested in anything off the moving averages here, given the respect that it's had so far for those moving averages. So GEVO absolutely in play. I saw you guys yell about MNTS. Absolutely. This is another big boy name as well. The #1 gapper on my scanner today, even though it's not triple digits, it is up 44, 45%. and it is at the day high. Just printed that $1.54. Another one that's been very much respecting the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. Higher lows, higher highs. Here are the details. $25 million market cap, 35 million shares traded today, and the float, 16.5 million shares. And last but not least, the short float. If 3% about there is short on MNTS. Very much another very directional name. We're going to have to load up the trading screens to see what the book looks like. I already told you about Polestar. I own this, so I don't really want to talk of my own book. But this, I'm assuming, is moving as a result of the Canadian tariffs now on Chinese EVs. That creates a protectionist bubble around North America. And they specifically get around it despite being owned half by Geely, because of the South Carolina plant, okay? So that's the move there. ASST, this one is the #1 gap scanner, not MNTS, but it's not the #1 gapper since the bell. So it's the #1 gapper since 4 a.m. Big move, 73% right now. But the issue with this one, the range per candle, far too wide for my liking. That influences my stop as well as my entries and my beak wetters, everything. It changes everything. The range per candle, very wide. Number 2, it's broken down below the volume weighted average price. I don't like that for a breakout trade with these small cap gappers. Number 3, it is technically still below the pre-market high. This print here at 8.15 took us all the way up into 2 1/3. No, sorry, not 2 1/3 more. $2.38. Technically, the after the bell high is $2.34. So we still haven't taken out that pre-market high yet. That makes me a little bit suspicious. Let me tell you the deets on this one, though. It is a $6.16 million market cap. Lots of volume, about 82 million shares traded on this bad boy here. And the float is tiny, 899,000 shares. I thought it was a Chinese company, but it's not. It's based out in Dallas. So let's find out what the short float is. 11 1/5. Okay, now we've got a lot to work with. Sub 1 million float. Above 10% of the float is shorted. So now we got a real one that can move. The only problem is the chart's ugly. And the way that it's trading is just too bamboozling. Too much range per candle, below VWAP. It's going to really have to tighten up before I can get interested on this. But I'm going to keep it up. ASST, absolutely in play. Zoo, is a holdover from Friday because of the earnings play. It's absolutely above the volume weighted average price. And last time it dipped into VWAP, it got bought up and you had like about $1.50 off that. So keep your eye on June. Last but not least here is GCI. In terms of small cap gappers, I've got Kava and Sedge, but they're obviously not small cap gappers. GCI is a little suspect given its lack of volume, okay? And look, it's a $5 name. It's printed 1.5 million shares, a little bit less than 1.5 million shares. Great looking chart, very bull flag-ish, held up at 540, looking to take that or hold above 550. So it's got a lot of good things going for it. The only thing holding it back, the lack of volume. It's an $850 million market cap. And let me just tell you the short float real quick. 14.8%. So a lot of higher shorted names today, Adara, with the small cap gappers.
Yeah, that was one thing too that I noticed. Really high short floats and small floats, period. That was one of the biggest things I noticed on the small cap recap. There's also a super chat for you from Big Kyle Burdett.
Big Style? Shout out Big Style. $4.99 super chat. Big Style, Big Kyle, Big Spile, Big Smile, whatever you want to call him. My hairdresser is called Baldy. Lululemon hairdresser laying on the beach. Is this the low deal? Oh, come on, Kyle. Come on,
it's a
bro.
Bit of a roast.
I didn't call it GIVO. His name was GIVO, man. What do you want me to do? It's his name, not mine. I mean, cut the guy some break, bro. Cut the guy a break. You know, he's just living his life and he's getting roasted on a show he doesn't even know exists. Cut the guy a break.
That's that on that.
All he's trying to do is cut hair, Daryl.
Right? He's just trying to cut some hair. You're giving him a haircut there on the show. No, I'm joking.
I like
that.
But
AMD, I have to say, AMD 151 is some of the most fascinating tape and book I have seen in quite some time. So you might be like, Adara, you got involved in this. Give me your read on this. I got short here on... Sounds confident. My hairdresser is called Barber.
And Tycoon, why'd you do him like that, Tycoon?
Yeah, it's a little...
Come on, Tycoon.
But basically, yeah, so what I did here in the chat, not in the chat, what I did here with AMD was I saw this range. You guys know I love ranges. But I also saw a struggle to break above 151. So I said, Adara, if we can't break 151, short the bottom of this range. I got short 150.80s. I was going to risk into 151s. I wanted to add here at 150.50. So I was like, the risk reward here is fine. I wanted minimum 150s. Like that, this all tracks, right? You've got levels on the chart for that. It's cool. We broke above 151. I got out. Then we started making higher lows. If we can hold above this 151, I'll go long 151, and then I'll risk it into 150.80. So basically, I use the opposite risk to reward that I used in the first place. Still risking 20 cents, still trying to make minimum 50 cents, but just about switching up your mental. And that's why when I plan my trades, I usually don't plan direction. I plan levels. Because if my level's set up, then I'll know what direction I wish to take them. That's my take on that. That ended up working out for PDD, which is now heading towards 98. To be clear, you know, no regrets, to borrow an Obiism. I'm happy with what I did with this trade. I got out at 99s because we were struggling with breaking at 99s, and we wicked into it a couple of times. I said, Adara, get out here. Also, I thought the 98 level was a little bit less obvious to me. Now 98's crashing below 98. It's like, Adara, I was here the whole time. What do you mean less obvious? Like, okay, sorry, PDD, because I didn't have enough conviction there or enough confidence for that trade, but I did have enough confidence to take $1 on both halves of the position. So got in the first part, $100.60, got it out 99.60. Second part, in at 99s, or in at 100s, out at 99. So happy with how that went. Though again, as I said, I'm still hiding the P&L even if I'm on the sim, because it's not about the profits and losses, it's about the progress and it's about the learning. And so if you want to learn more, get in that chat, exclamation point, join, space, $, that ticker. Let us know how you're feeling here and what you're trying to look at. We had someone here, I think it was called Forced Breathing was Tyranny, asking about PayPal, PYPL. If you want to look here with your pals Sean and Neil at PayPal or any other ticker, definitely this new segment brought to you by Real Trading. Make sure you get into that chat.
Wow.
Look at this PayPal here, though. I like this look. Definitely some chop and turn at 72.75. This is also relatively stronger than the rest of the market here. PayPal is on the NQ. We have the Qs here down about 1%. PayPal up more than 1%. So I do like this look. Nice little support here at 72.75. I don't know if this is a day that's going to shock the world. Shout out to one of the most questionable, hype schemes that I've ever heard a company do, saying shock the world and then your stock drops. But PayPal, definitely not going to shock the world there, but I do like this look. I love the support of the daily chart. Look at how well we've held up this $57, $58 level here in PYPL. Then we crack above that 67. I think as long as we hold that 67, that's a good look, but we kind of bull flagged as well. Chip chop, breaking above 72. So I was seeing a drip chop in PayPal after that chip chop. I think that's a pretty darn good look that we have going on here and on the PayPal one. Shout out to Pran saying we're fun to watch trade. I appreciate you, Pran. We like to have fun every single day. I know I'm in the sim, but we're still going to be taking some hard trade. I'm just trying to clarify so that people know, we're about honesty here. And
absolutely.
Trader TV Live. There was another one I wanted to look at for someone here. Someone was asking about Starbucks, so I want to look at Starbucks for people. I've only traded AMD and PDD today. I still have eyes on other things, but I don't have levels of entry in anything, so I'm going to wait, take my time. SPY, though, SPY, if you ever break 560, I'll be taking you with hecka size. I'll be like, that'll be lots of size in that trade. Starbucks, nice little look here. Wow, Starbucks, 94.90s.
What?
Quick. Look at that, pushing it higher, Sharif. You would have gotten more than a Brian Nickel had you gotten long here, let me tell you. You would have gotten a cool 2 quarters there. Shout out to Brian Nickel there. But if we break above 550, to me, that's an even stronger look. Because, yeah, you're above VWAP, but then you're also above this weird little consolidation area we had earlier. I don't mind this look in Starbucks, though. You wouldn't have gotten a Star Buck, nor would you have gotten a Star Nickel. So, nice look. I'll stop making questionable Starbucks puns now. Apple, the dead one. Not so dead off that 225
It
bounce.
awoke, Adara.
Amazon, as Passover Dose was saying in the chat, waking up here above 176. Amazon of these Mag 7s. Oh boy, I don't mind that 176 break. You guys know who that's reference to. How are you doing here?
I got cut up on MNTS. I tried. Look, I like this area. It was a 10 exponential retracement. I got in at the 10. It tanked against me. It tanked. And here's the look. I like this area crest over here. So I was basing my support, the support off this $136. But this thing just absolutely collapsed. And then I picked it up at VWAP. And then it dropped again. So I was like, no, I got to stop the bleeding. Now the price, not the wick, just the current action above the volume weighted average price. So, this could hold up here at the $130. And it looks like right now it is recovering off that $130. Yeah, you know what? I'm already 0 for 2 on it. I don't want to go 0 for 3. So even if it does hold up here, we got to set the, I got to put the brakes on. So 0 for 2 on MNTS as it really dropped aggressively. But I don't think that that's the end of the matter with small cap gappers. Look at what GCI just did. I talking smack about this, saying that the volume was really light on GCI, and there it goes, breaking through that 555 top. Yeah, generally about 555, rocketing up into 574. That's in one candle move right there. So really good look on GCI. The volume, though, I'm still gonna feel the same way about it, unless it picks up. GIVO, though, the big kahunas are not here, but I am very interested now in a short on GIVO. This $1 area, Ram, when we keep putting in topping tails into that $1 area, and then look what we did here, lower high. So still topping tail with a lower high. Now, I don't have shorts. Let me just double check to see whether this is a pay for shorts type situation. Let's take off PUD.
Market just dropped here.
Woo. All right, let's go. Just put it all the way up here. See if I can short. No. So this is a pay for short type of situation from Real Trading, and I bet you it's not going to cost me that much money because Real Trading is the best prop firm around these parts. Up 17 2/3, but I do love this rounded top at a very clear level. We talk about this $1 area being a different trade, above and below $1. That doesn't mean that this doesn't bamboozle me. Come down into 95 pennies, where there is a previous area of resistance, could act as support this time, and then move up into $1. So you can do a couple of things here. You can short, looking for that move down, or you can get in, use 95, 94 pennies as your stop, risk 2 or 3 pennies here for that dollar break. I'm going to do neither until the big kahunas get back. And I see Neil waddling back to his desk now, so hopefully I'll be able to get some shorts on this bad boy. GEVO up 18 some odd %, multi-day runner. This was running on Friday as well. Oh, wow. GCI is just going here. We were talking about 575 being that high a day. The buying is coming in aggressively now. 581 now, HOD up 18%. Looking to go more here on the heavy, lighter. Well, there he is. You know, we love Neil. He's getting better. And the thing is today, he's walking around with one crutch. So I was like, hey,
he's transitioning. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we're trying, we're trying. There he is. He's looking a lot better, though, straight up. He's looking a lot better than that.
Shut up.
Shout out to Neil Roberts, baby. Absolutely killing it there. We just had you. I don't control the cameras, Neil. I really don't. She's right there. She's right there. Her name is Ram.
Because you cannot, Sharif cannot go, I was going to say a day, but Sharif can go like 20 minutes without bullying Ram. That's how we go over here.
He reminds me of the gang member in the movie Training Day. I don't know, Neil or me, Jim B? Shout out to you. I don't know. Well,
I mean, he's the cop in Training Day.
I think he's a cop in Trading Day. Yeah, I'm not sure who he means, but maybe he has a mustache or something. All right, so that's a look. What are you doing over there?
Yeah, I'm in SPY. I'm in the SPY, and at first I was a little bit upset because I did miss this beautiful breakdown here from that range in AMD. But you know what? You got to pick your fighter. And in this case, my fighter was screaming at me. My fighter was the spider. Right? Cool. So that being said, don't love how I got into this. I wish I had gotten in a little bit more aggressively once we broke below that 560-40s. I know I like my whole dollar level things on the SPY, but I've also always said if there's something I like on the book or the chart before that, I'm willing to get in before that point. In this case, I really loved 560-40 on the SPY because we actually held that as support decently for breaking below it. If we break above 560-20s here, it looks like we're going to. I'm going to have to make my exit. But look, we try to get above 560-20s, and then we actually don't want. Okay, yeah, there we go. We're going to have to get out here. I believe that is the whole position. Yeah, we're out. No, we still have some in. Okay. We're going to have to be getting the rest out here. Oh, it's a very small position we have left. Okay, got out the rest there. Let's see how this goes. Happy I tried this trade. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted my whole dollar level here. And if we still can't get back above that 560-40, would love to be able to get filled. SPY, come on now. Then I'll be getting back in. So do not love how the management was done on here. I think, I've got a lot of part fills today, which has certainly not been the vibe. Happy I attended this trade, but it looks like we had a false breakdown. Let's see what we get.
I want you to know that that's sim. That
is the sim
specific. Yeah, you wouldn't have got those partial fills.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very sim
I
specific.
appreciate that.
So shout out to Real Trading. You wouldn't have got partial fills. Like I specifically always get that. Well, you know I trade in the sim when we start in the morning, and I'm constantly getting partial fills in the sim. Never seem to get partial fills.
No, they're really good about avoiding those partial fills, unless like it's a really expensive stock and the way it's moving. Like there was that one time, you guys know, there was that beautiful $500 meta breakdown, and I only had a fifth of the shares I wanted, but that's because it's meta. So it's a little bit different. This is who, oh my God. I
like this guy.
I like that actor. I recognize that actor.
Yes. He played some bomber guy in what was that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
What was his name? And he was on the bike and he was blowing stuff up and he's a terrible person in movies, Adira. Probably a really nice guy in real life. But shout out to Rob there. Thanks for the troll. You know, I don't get upset about it. Oh, why, Ram Ram? Okay, 1 second. What are you gonna do with it, Ram Ram? See that people's eyebrow?
Oh my God, this is actually kind of.
I must break you.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot more life in your eyes than like this still, right? Like so much, like Sharif is like alive and this guy looks, I mean, he's playing a gangster. So
I love having a good time.
Well.
His things go a little bit lower. I got rid of the sidebars. I didn't really like him, Adira, you know what I mean?
You gotta style your own mustache. Ramin that is not what he sounds like. Ramin is making fun of Sharif here. Also, guys, if you have any tickers you want to look at, get in the chat, ! Join, space, $, whatever tickers you're fancy. Yeah, that SPY was not the vibe. We'll see if we can get back above 560 right now. That spider crawling away from me. If it crawls back, I'm down to try it. To be clear, happy I tried that trade. I said, like, I'm in SIB basically just because I didn't really love the way I was trading live. I want to take a moment to breathe, recuperate, because I do have the conviction in my style, and I want to make sure I have time to let my style breathe, let my style live, before I can, go back to the sim for some other verdicts here. Right now, we're like in youth court, a little bit less before we get to the adult court there. So shout out to Law and Order and that crew over there. Shout out to Law and Order Toronto, which is a show that is happening it exists. How are you doing over here?
I love the chat just chiming in about that guy. I got to go back and look at the side by side because I was like looking straight into the camera. I couldn't see, so I got to go back and look at that. Neil, how much would some shortages on GIVO cost me? How much are the goes going to run? Thank you, Neil. If we could let everybody know. So GIVO bouncing off the 10 on the 5 here. So maybe I should be careful what I wish for, baby. I'm going long here, GIVO. It came into that 95 pennies, came into 90. I was liking 95. It came into 94. I'm going to give this the old community college try, and I'd like it for another possible dollar test. Maybe I wet my beak at 99s. Breaks down here. I'm taking the short. Neil's going to let me know exactly how much they're going to cost, and I'll let you know. But I'm willing to bet you it's not going to cost me that much money because real trading is the best dang prop firm around these parts. So we're gonna pack our patience there. So now what's my move here? I'm long 96s. The move is I'm out 93. So we're gonna bet, or we're gonna not bet. We're gonna risk 93 pennies, possibly, or 3 pennies, excuse me, to make a couple more there, and that's going to be the look. I'll give this one penny spread. So yeah, GIVO in at 96s, trying to see if it holds up. If it doesn't, we're going to risk a little bit over here. All right, let's go back into some of these large cappers. Finally, we get that rejection on 19.6. I had been waiting a hot dang minute. Now do we make new lows? So we've got the likes of Amazon rejecting VWAP. Apple didn't quite make it up there, but it's also rejecting it. Neither did Microsoft. It couldn't get back up there. Google's whiffling and waffling, a little bit above, a little bit below. The Fuge on the way down. Tesla on the way down. This should be free. I tried. It didn't let me short. Yeah, I tried. You just punched in short? Okay, so then I'll do it again then. Yeah, perfect. I'll try again. Maybe I got too high. I put it like way high, so it's probably rejected my order because it was too high. Dale Doppelganger Deluxe. I'm happy it makes you happy, guys. And the one way to make me happy is to get into the chat right now and vote for your favorite tickers. The afternoon rundown is nothing without user input. Neil and Sean, they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you, but only the top 5 make it on. If you want Neil and Sean to cover the tickers and let you know how they would have traded it, and if they didn't, how they would have, you will vote for your favorite one right now. I already have Ori in the chat. She wants to vote for Palantir. She wants to hear what Neil and Sean have to say about Palantir, and I know what Sean's going to say about Palantir, so we'll have to wait to see what Neil says. But yeah, get into the chat right now, have your say every day, and get your friends to vote your way, because only the top 5 of the tickers make it on. All right, 2K1, he wants to see what SMCI, or she wants to see what SMCI is doing. SMCI, I can tell you right now, is down 7.13%. So I'm willing to bet the guys would have said go short. FFTB, they want to see what MU is up to. We saw the Katina man in MU today. TV, they want to see what NVIDIA's doing. NVIDIA's coming back down to 126.5. Where will it be when Neil and Sean start waxing poetic? So get into the chat right now. Vote for your favorite ticker every day. Otherwise, the afternoon rundown will be kind of, meh, right? We don't want it to be meh. We want it to be impactful. So that's a look there. All right. I'm in my GIVO trade. I'm neither out of the money nor in the money. So I'm going to pack my patience to see if this one moves up. Stop's already in play there. So
yeah.
You have anything to say?
No, I don't. Yeah, keep going.
Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about, Ram, was the fact that we're finally rejecting 19.6. So now I'm starting to look short on these Mag 7 names. It's about which one we reject. What's going on? Why are you getting so happy up there? What are you short? You're just happy. All right. Well, thank you, dear. That's nice. Oh, you're happy for me. Oh, okay.
That's very sweet. I like that you're so skeptical that Ramin can be happy for you.
You believe her?
I do. I mean, honestly, it's very nice of her to be happy for you when you're always bullying her over here.
Like, I'm bullying her?
You guys bully each other. It's mutual. Yes. It is very mutual. It is very confusing to me, but we all have a good time. Shout out to this show. And honestly, like, all jokes aside, all threatening of Ramin's turtle aside, we do really love this community. So shout out to all you guys here, everyone on the floor always. SPY. I tried another 560 short, but I like my approach to this better this time. Again, would have liked to have gotten involved a little bit above where I got involved. Started building right before 560. Said if we break above 560.20, I'm out. We get to 560.19, okay? Okay? Cool. Then we come right back down. I'm like, dope. We break 560, I add to the position. Now, we are continuing to try to break. The way we're testing this 560 breakdown, I think if we ever do get blood in this water, if this spider has this little cobweb spraying to the downside, I think this will be a nice little breakdown. But again, doesn't matter what I think. All it matters is what the market gives me. There's a very possibility that I get rinsed and my little spider gets washed up ashore all sad and bleh. Okay, we did just make a new low of day here on the SPY. So let's get ready to go here. I have a decently sized position here, definitely not as large as the short that I took of the 550. I think it was 557 short that I had in the sim there on Thursday, but decently sized position. If we stay below 560s, I'm cool staying in this. If we break back above 560s, I'm cool getting out flat. I honestly just really wanted this breakdown. I'm happy I attempted this breakdown. And the fact that we're continuing to kind of wheedle our way here back below 560s has me pleased as punch. Look, we just tried to break back above 560s. What does the book do? Get lower. That being said, I'm seeing higher lows now here. Whoever is involved here, these people on the bid, do not want this to get lower. Hashtag bid people.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know what that means. But good times there. Let's see what's going on. We've got a couple shares still in the abyss here. Just got out of the SPY, basically flat here, so didn't lose anything on this trade. I had to adhere to my exit rules. If we got flat or got to 560s, I'd get out. My next level in SPY is if we get back to 560.40s, I'll play that. I don't want to take another 560 break. My general rule, and I've said this, is if you try the second break or like a retest of the break, it's not always going to be as impactful as if you get that clean first break below. So I want to be aware of that. What else do I want to be aware of? Wow, did I miss my AMD? To be fair, I was happy I played around in the SPY, but while I was playing around with the spider there, we started to Charlotte's Web. While I was talking to that spider, I missed a beautiful opportunity here in Lisa's Web, this AMD. Look at this AMD breakdown range, Sharif. This is a textbook Adara Panera trade. Instead of taking that range breakdown, I missed it because I was like, oh, SPY, what are you up to? To be clear, both of these were playbook trades. I had to choose my fighter. I chose my spider as my fighter. But I'm still upset I missed that 151. I'm not going to lie to you. Look at how clean this was. We knew I had levels on this because I liked it as a short earlier from below that level. So I digress. I protest too much. If we get back to 150.80s, which was a level that I liked on the way down, if we get back to 150.80s, I will short that. I will risk into 151s. I'm cool with that. You don't always have to get the first kind of crack of the onion. Sometimes you can get the second or the third crack of the onion. Why onions? Who knows? Also, to mention some tickers, Sharif was just mentioning there for people in the chat, Micron here. I like Micron below that 99 level. Definitely look at that rejection we had here of 100s. That's beautiful. Micron could continue to the downside. Also, SPCE, I've been talking for a week about how sweet that SPCE 600 rejection would be. And it happens when I'm not here at my desk. Yeah. SPCE, that's SPCE throwing up. That's what that sound was. That is SPCE, yakking to the downside here. Apologize for the grotesque analogy. If we come back and we have a clear retest of that 568, I'd be vaguely tempted to get involved. But my thing with SMCI is I always have to have a nice risk to reward ratio. That's the same with Lily. I will not take SMCI or Lily unless I'm getting at least 3 to 1 risk to reward, if not more. Like I've had Lily trades with where there's like a 5 or 6 to 1 risk to reward. To be clear, have they always worked out? No. But it's about the possibility there. It's about what's the potential slice of the pie that you're getting. And so for me, if there's no big slice of pie, I don't want that pie. I don't want that smoke, I guess that's right.
Life of pie?
Shout out to the life of pie there. No tigers, but certainly some spiders here still to talk about here. We are below that 560 level right now. Still, like I said, I'm not getting back involved if I don't have that clean breakout. Kava. Someone was saying don't get involved Kava at high of day. I definitely would not have, but I put it in my side chart because I was curious to see what it did. We keep rejecting 127.80s. I don't want to get involved in this unless there's a little bit of an opportunity for a reversion man, reversion woman, reversion person. Reversion here around that 127. I want to see what we do because that was certainly an area we're rested on. We come back below and break below. This is, I love my spready tickers. Kava's got like a 22-cent spread. So maybe some tzatziki sauce to spread out over here on this CAVA. I don't actually know if they do Greek food. I keep making Greek food references, but I know they're Mediterranean. So shout out to Kava there. Kava caving in though right now. And we get to that 127. I'll be watching what we do here. I don't want to short this right away because this is really strong. It's off earnings. We had a great day 1 earnings. So far, decent day 2 earnings as well. But I want to watch the book as we get to 127 because there could be some opportunities for me. How are you doing?
I'm watching the SPY come right back down. What a move through. So this is one of those times where I say to myself, Sharif, you have all these rules that you like to employ, but sometimes on days like this, they make me question the rules. What are those? I don't typically use moving averages on the 5-minute chart on the future because my experience, they really haven't worked out all that well. And this is one of those days where I'm kind of questioning that whole philosophy because I was basing it on 19.6 and we got well beyond 19.6, to be fair. We got it in 19.6 and a third. Up into 33s, and it really did find its rejection at the 20. So if you're thinking, well, Sharif, maybe you just kind of got lucky there rejecting at the 20. Well, it wasn't just once. It was several times that it rejected at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. So this is one of those ones where I was really kind of looking for this specific move right here, but not on the futures, on a MAX7 name. And you kind of got it on some and not on others. And so here we go. Meta's below 520 again. Right? With the future coming back down, you're getting that kind of dead cat bounce down and then round up all the way down again. Like this is a pattern we see a lot when the market is red. Down, recovery, but then a rounded top to kind of come back and test the lows. Sometimes you test lows, sometimes you make new lows. Hard to know what day it's going to be today, obviously, but very consistent pattern with these MAG7 names down, up and then round and then right back down again. Now, here's my observation. Is to kind of gauge which ones are the strongest by how close they are on this latest down move to the low of day. So here's what I mean by that. Like, look, for example, at Tesla. The rounded move back up doesn't even touch the 20, and then we're awfully close to the low of day on Tesla. Far closer than you would say on Meta, which is like at 520 and the low of day is 515. It hasn't retraced nearly as much. So I'm more inclined, if the market is to catch a bid, to be getting long something that hasn't retraced as aggressively as the others. And that, in my book, would be kind of like a Meta and an NVIDIA. And really Google, but Google's been really dead money on the day. I think that's why we're not moving, because we're just not moving up or down. So a change on the market where we break above 19.6 and a third and create a new high above this area crest over here, I'm all long, like, unless it's completely changed in how it's trading, I'm long Meta at those levels. Apple looks good too. I don't want to disrespect Apple, but Apple, I don't think it's as strong as Meta on the day. So keeping an eye on the future, see what direction we're going to head, whether this latest move down is a higher low than the previous area low. The previous area low on the future, we did defend 19.5. So it's 19,505. And if we hold up, say, at around 19,550, that is a higher low. And then we're looking for a 19.6 and a third break for that higher high. But we'll see what we get there. All right, let's flip back over here and check out what the sitch is with our friend GIVO, because we've just been letting that one do its thing. All right, I had a beak wetter at 98, didn't quite make it up into 98, got into 97s, but it's by no means out of play. I'm like, in fact, in the money on this one by fractions of a penny. I'm going to let this one cook. The out is already in place, and in case the bottom drops off, I've given my stop order a nice little spread there to account for any areas of illiquidity that could take place here on GIVO, because, quite frankly, the volume is starting to drop off a bit, drying up. The volume right now, like it's a sub $1 name, and it hasn't even printed 6 million shares, and we're at noon. We're 5 afternoon right now. So the volume on GIVO, it's not the best. That's just the situation. Now, another thing I want to point out, you know, I'm obviously very happy that Polestar is up above $1, but I'm also biased short locally, like locally meaning on the day and like in the next, you know, couple of days or whatever on Polestar. There's a reason for that. It's obviously had trouble with $1 when you look back on the daily chart. So I'm going to start looking possibly here short PSNY. Let me just show you exactly what I mean after this chart is done having a temper tantrum. Let's go chart. I've got a show to do here, bro. All right.
More chart.
I know.
You're cramping shoe style.
It is.
Chart.
It is, Adara. I mean, like, you know, if you could talk to it, that'd just be fantastic.
Well, I just did. Chart, you're being a punk.
You're being a punk, Chart. So, look, I remember when Neil was shorting the you-know-what at a Polestar when it was up about $1 back in early, mid-July. And look what it did at the time. It rejected the 50 exponential as it typically does. And we're right above the 50 exponential, but I'm kind of looking for the same thing over here that we got over here back in late Feb, early March, when we breached a 10 exponential quite aggressively, only a couple of days later to break down again. So I'm very short bias locally here on Polestar. I think we probably fight our way back down below $1 on the day. Yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, I'll stop putting words in Neil's mouth, and it is time for him to speak for himself after the ad read. Yeah. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Dare.
So before we move over to Neil, we're going to be thanking our friends at Moomoo. So are you looking to maximize your idle cash? Because you could earn 8.1% on idle funds for up to 3 months, okay? Plus U.S. users, I'm looking at anybody maybe here in the chat in the U.S., you could take advantage of up to 15 free stocks and $300 in cash rewards. Hey, Canada, you're not left out. Enjoy 6% cash balances along with a $2,000 commission rebate. Sign up with Moomoo to trade on extended trading hours. Trade 4 a.m. to 8 p.m., well beyond regular market hours. Whether you want to react to pre-market news, catch after-hours earnings, or simply manage your portfolio with more flexibility, Moomoo has you covered. Maximize your trading potential and stay ahead of the curve with extended hours today. For more details and the full terms and conditions, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Thanks to Moomoo for sponsoring this portion of the show, and thank you, Neil, for delivering your hot lines and your lesson of the day.
Bang.
Thank you for the intro. Lesson of the day time here. And look, there were opportunities to go short, no questions asked. We had a couple of them off the open. There was flat bottom break Meta. There was general downward trend or liking AMD in a general sense. Micron broke a low, $100. That was the key. That was all part of the plan. But you have to ask yourself sometimes, like, what are the other ways that you could have possibly looked for a big move to the downside on some of the stocks that we had set up today? So when we're looking for other things, it was sort of obvious to me when I looked at SolarEdge, and I'm going to get to that one last because we'll save the best for last. It was one simple setup that gave you trend down on several stocks today. And it's a simple false break at the highs. And I'm not saying these are all names you should be short at the top. That's not what I'm getting at here. It's just a matter of when you're looking for things to join, things that set up with a head fake can be great continuations to the downside. So I'm going to start with Microsoft here because Microsoft gave you an inside range where it never broke the low of the day. But the first thing it did at the open This is Friday's close price, right about 416.80 or so. And then you also had a double top of sorts because the morning range resistance was about the same price. So what's the first thing that Microsoft did at the open? Break that close price right at 9:30, fail that close price. Now, why this is an interesting setup is because there's always, not always, there are often traders that will see a stock trying to break out at the open. Okay, made a bottom on Friday, Monday morning, the buyers are coming in, they're trying to break it out. There's your little consolidation. There's your break at the top. It tries to hold 17, so you got 417 longs. You got previous close longs that are trying to go with the pop and go. It's just not happening. And when it fails, it goes right into a very clean downward trend. Pre-market lows hold as resistance. VWAP holds as resistance. VWAP holds as resistance. Again, there in about 11 o'clock, so not even the middle of the day. Now, I'm not here to tell you that this is the easiest trade out there, because it requires you to have a bit of a plan of action, be watching that stock. Let's just say you are a Microsoft trader. You need to be on that stock as it's happening, or at least looking for these names when it's trending down. You'll often see me scan in the first 20, 25 minutes. If I can't find relative strength and weakness, I'm looking for it. When you find something like that, you can jump on over, say that's a false break. There's a consolidation lower. I want to join that trend to the downside. Now, I'm using that as one example, but a stock that I was bullish on this morning, in a general sense, NVIDIA, didn't take it long till it got down to support, but it gave a very similar setup. This one was more of an even dollar, 131. False break. So same story, false break. The consolidation you could have had some time with. It breaks VWAP. It doesn't consolidate lower until about here. And then the other shot where you would have had a consolidation was underneath, again, underneath the previous close. It breaks down one more time. There's your consolidation. I was still looking long at that point because it was at that support level. But again, it's just about the false break at the open. It's that trap the longs here and then look for shorts, whether it's through VWAP, heck, whether it's the consolidation down there. And then you get a good trend pretty much the entire morning. It's about the follow through that you tend to get. If the market's going to go down anyways, you might as well be in names that have trapped longs at the top, so have a better potential to fall even further. And now the reason why I decided this was going to be the jam today, which was this kind of a setup, it's Solar Edge. This is Solar Edge. Now, this is a bit of a cheat, and I'm saving it for last for this reason. It doesn't actually break out on the daily. Now, when I talked about this name in the pre-market, I said this is 32.25, and it needs to break here for it to go. Now, obviously, you're going to see this move. It breaks out the pre-market high. So this is a gap and go if you're only looking at the higher time. If you're only looking at like a 3-minute chart, then all you're going to see is gapping up, holding higher lows, breaking out the top. It is really easy to like that as just a standard breakout trade. But when you zoomed it out on the daily, you realized it never got through that overhead resistance at 32 and change. So therefore, it stalled out in front of the overhead resistance, fails a 31 break, and there's your acceleration to the downside. So it's a very, very, it's a rip your face off move to the downside. But the key here is you can already be looking for the fail break because it never took out 32.25. I would say a breakout trade doesn't have to be, you don't have to take it unless it breaks. And oftentimes you'll also hear me say, I hate taking breakouts into overhead resistance. When in doubt, zoom out. That 31 looks like a very standard break the even dollar after it gaps up. When you zoomed out that daily chart, it needed to get through here. It didn't. That set up the false break and reversal to the downside. So most of the reason I wanted to look at that trade was just simply how ridiculous Solar Edge ended up being in terms of trending back in when it failed that break. But part of it had to do with, okay, what can you also join that gave that setup? In a similar sense, there's your Microsoft failed break at the previous high. Then it trends down off of VWAP. And then NVIDIA, same thing. Failed break, breaking out the top, and then you get your trend down. It's all well and good to have ideas short, like AMD, Meta, all that kind of good stuff, but what else is there that you can join that gives you a setup for continuation and maybe a bigger fall than the average stock? The ones that trap the top are far more likely to have that big run down because some of the longs from the morning have to unwind in addition to the fact the market's selling off. So like that pop and fade trade, that's your lesson of the day. Market's heading right back into some of those lows. Good luck, everybody.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Neil. What do we call it around here, Dara?
Lesson of the day.
We call that Neilage.
We do call it Neilage, yeah.
All right, so shout out to Neil. Eloquent, awesome, and informative as always. Neil's lesson of the day every day around that noon hour when he is here. If you're not around, you're not going to get Neilage. So it's up to you. It's up to you. All right, so here I want to talk about this. I was about to go long right before Neil started dropping said hot lines at 96.50. And on PDD. And the reason I said, Sharif, you're crazy, this thing is down 30%, don't go long at 96.50 with a resting order, because that's how you can find yourself $1 out of the money like that. Because you haven't got proof that it's going to bounce off that level. Why am I looking at 96.50? Well, it's an obvious area trough, so I'm thinking possible support at that area. Somebody was buying it there last time. Maybe they'll buy it again when it comes in at 96.50. They didn't. And it worked all its way down to 96. So when I came back from listening to BPI tell me about how I need $3 million to make $200,000 a month, you know, it was...
Wait, what?
Yeah, BPI is the OG, Adair.
What was this conversation?
I'll get to it in a second. But I saw that it was above 96 and it held 96. So I was like, okay, it's proven to me here that at least locally, maybe for a minute, maybe two, it's going to bounce up. I know. Well, what do you, $3 million to make about $200,000 a month. Yeah. Not guaranteed. Well, yeah. No. We'll talk off camera. Continue, man. Anyway, so I got long there, and I started yelling at Darren, oh my God, I'm 25 pennies on the money. And then we ended up taking 50 pennies super quick on PDD. I'm really happy with this trade. I should have sized up a little bit more. Now what I'm looking for is what happens when we move into 98, 98.50. That's an area we've obviously had issues with before. We had it on the way down initially at around, 10:30. Then we had it again at 11:45. So if we work our way up there, it's a good a spot as any for another lower high. We already know that this high over here is a lower high because we're down 30%. So somewhere up here, if the pattern is to continue of lower highs and lower lows, I'm looking at 98, 98.50. We'll see. I'm not going to have any resting orders in and around there. Trust me when I tell you that. I will have to observe it, reject, and then we'll look to get in again. But yeah, interesting look right now on PDD. And guys, this is a company that's down 30% that has over 100% year-over-year increase on earnings. So when Neil tells you and Sean tells you there is no good or bad earnings, there's only better or worse, this is the exact example of that. All right, 100% year-over-year increase in revenue, which is insane. Anyway. So rejecting right now. I'm still involved in GIVO. I'm long at 96s. It's at 94 1/3, or 95 now on the bid. So I'm out of the money. My break is 93. It weaseled its way into 93 1/4. It looks like there. It didn't trigger my order. I'd like to wet my beak at 98s. Ultimately, for that dollar break, come what may, we shall see. I just see there that KC in the chat just voted for NVIDIA. He wants to see what the big kahunas think of it, NVIDIA. So if you guys want to, Neil and Sean, to look at the tickers as decided by you, only the top 5 make it on. Get into the chat right now, exclamation point the word join, then hit that space bar. Then shift 4 for the $sign and type in the 4-letter ticker that you want. Britt Burden, he says AMC is loading. Dwayne Walker wants to talk about Nike. How about you vote for those guys? Vote for them. See what Neil and Sean have to say about it. Jay Blue, he's talking about TNXP. Vote for it. DOG Darwin says Apple announces September event. I think we knew that already on Friday. Shout out to the OG Darwin. People are talking about Faraday Futures. That was another ridiculous mover from last week that we still don't know why it was moving. Do we know?
I never saw any news on it, but it's Faraday,
yeah,
so
good point.
They that one tends to move a little bit on its own, of its own volition.
Triple J there. Shout out to Triple J. Join Tesla. Summer B wants NVIDIA. J Blue, TNXB. So shout out to everybody voting. The afternoon segment is nothing without you guys. So the more votes we get, obviously the better it comes out. And have your friends vote your way because only the top 5 make it on Adair.
Yeah, and also, guys, don't just vote for the tickers we know we're going to talk about because we've always said, like, you know, it's a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun and fanciful and lifelike and whimsical.
Hey.
I don't know what words I'm using here. If you vote for tickers that we don't necessarily talk about all the time, so let's say you want to see an AMC or a GIVO or any of these like GME or GIVO or any of these names we don't talk about all the time, that can be really cool as well. So as long as they've got volume, as long as there's some movement there, we definitely want to look at them. Put any ticker in the chat. I am short AMD at 150. I would like to talk about this because I have some qualms. I'm not going to lie. There are some qualms. But the qualms have been a little bit assuaged by the fact that we've now rejected my area of stop at least twice now. So I'm giving this 20 pennies on AMD. If we reclaim that 150-20 area, which as you can see we closed on that as a Doge a couple times here, we get above that area, I want all my Doge coins. I'm joking, I don't have Doge. I just want all my coins here out of AMD as a short. However, we've now rejected that twice. I like this 150. A, it's a whole dollar level. B, it's got this kind of like continued lower momentum here on the 5-minute chart and in some of these other charts here too. I like the weakness here. That being said, did we have a little bit of a bounce here off 149.70 on the 10-minute? For sure. That's why I'm getting out half of my position at that level. So I'm risking 20 pennies trying to make minimum 30. Weird risk to reward ratio, sure. But is it more than 1-to-1? Yes, it is. So that's what I can live with. I've said I don't need my ratios to make perfect mathematical sense as long as I can live with them and they make some sense to me.
Bang.
So cool with that. SPY well above that 560. The level that I was looking at, the one Mag 7 I'm kind of tempted to take long here that I didn't because I'm busy with my AMD, which to be clear, happy I chose AMD because this hasn't even really broken out. If Tesla can break 213 beautifully, I like that 213. Why do I like that 213? A, we wicked into it. B, look at this top one chart here earlier. I think if we break above 213 beautifully on the book, I want how much smoke? All of it. So good look there in Tesla. Also Meta. I agree with Sharif's claim, or Sharif's not claim, Sharif's call that Meta could be a long. That being said, I took a quick short here, and that was just because I liked what I saw in the book. At the time, we got to 520 on the ask. We couldn't even get remotely near there on the. Thank you. I took like 60 pennies on that. Couldn't even get remotely near there on the bid. So that is why I wanted all the smoke. And did I get all the smoke? I did actually get all the smoke. So that was a cool look there on the Meta short. As part of my, AMD, I'm trying to get out of this AMD right now because this AMD is getting a little bit away from me. Come on, AMD, let me out. There we go. We're out of AMD. But also, with regards to that Meta, the reason that so I got out part here at 519.40s because look at that wick we had earlier. Look at these wicks we had here, right? I thought 519.40s could be an area of resistance. I was risking into 30s, so this is like a 2-to-1 risk to reward. I can live with that. Then for the last piece, I was looking for just below 519s, but I had exit rules. So initially, as we were at 519.40s, I said if we can't get above that, we'll go 70s. Basically, anywhere we kind of wicked or closed at. We didn't get there. We broke near 519s, then bounced. We came back to 519.40s, just above there. I got out. So that was the plan there for Meta. AMD actually just took my second L on the AMD one. So Lisa Sue and I might not be besties for the rest of the day. As I'm yapping, I missed my Tesla 213 break, so let's see what we do here at 213. I do like that look in Tesla if we can hold above that level, risking into 1280s. I've always said with Tesla, I'm only going to trade it if I've watched the book incessantly. How are you doing over here?
I have a quick question.
Please ask.
So we know you to be one of a very thick, dense vocabulary.
I like vocabulary.
Yes, we know.
Yeah.
No, not in a
No, I just like the way you say it.
Because I set you up already.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, you're right.
So you said assuaged.
Assuaged, yeah.
And there's a different way to say it, right? Because I know that you know both ways. Is there assuaged and assuaged?
Assuaged, right? Yeah, that's right. I always just say
boy
assuaged.
and buoy.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I was.
No, that's true. Assuaged,
yeah.
I like saying it as assuaged for whatever reason, but assuaged you can also say.
Can I tell you that my sister and I went through this whole thing, plethora and plethora?
You can use both.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I actually went through a little phase where I only used plethora for a while, and my sister and I didn't talk for that time, so it was all there. No, I'm just joking. All right, Adara, there is some things happening here in these here markets above 19.6. Again, we go. So now we have a higher low on the future, and I was just yelling over to the Katina man because, PDD is like, $1.50 above where I got out. So PDD really finding support at 96 this time around. It's almost at 99. So yeah, obviously down 30% of the day, but that doesn't mean there can't be trades to be had on both sides. As you saw, just Adara take big winner there on Meta, despite the fact that Meta looks like it's going back up. So there it is. 19.6 Adara being breached again over here on the NQ September contract, 19.610. So this is what we were talking about earlier. If we get the hold up here at the low, that's a higher low. Then what we're looking for is 19.6 1/3 to get taken out on a closing basis. So that's a higher low and that's a higher high. We'll have to see if it can continue to recover. We still have, obviously, the volume weighted average price waiting at 19.6 2/3. I'll get that right. So I'm looking to see if this is just, you know, more zig and zag, or whether we start trending higher with higher lows and higher highs. We got the half of it so far vis-a-vis that higher low, holding up at 19,550. So good recovery right now for some of these Mag 7 names. The dead one is back above VWAP, and it's all the way up looking into 22575. I'm just seeing if anything else is above VWAP. Meta's above VWAP. What else? Well, Google is, but I've already made my opinion on Google on the day very clear. It's very, very consolidated, very low range. It's up 0.1. Look at that high to low. I mean, if you take out the IB high there, right at 930, and you take the majority of the closing prints after, essentially it's 166 the high and about 165 1/4 the low. You have these two outlying areas over here, but for the most part, very, very tight range. So possibly here moving up on the future, but we're zigging and zagging at 19.6. I'm still short bias, I got to be honest with you. So that's the look there. Now, we're still in GIVO, and now we're only 1 penny out of the money, but I'm still confident on this trade because it came into that 93 penny area ahead of the volume weighted average price, which is at 92 and change, and held up. We still have lower highs, so I'm not very, happy about it. I'm confident with it, but I'm not singing its praise. These lower highs here are very obvious. Now, what we need to do is we're putting in higher lows marginally. Now we need higher highs. So you're going to have to start curling here to prove that you are still along above that level. Let's keep an eye on that. I'm still bearish on Polestar. I'm not going to get in yet because clearly it's trading like a buyout right now with 101 on the bid, 102 on the ask. Yeah, it looks like a buyout here. But, we're not putting any newer highs, so we could start coming down on Polestar. I'm pretty short bias on this one. We'll see once the trade becomes, I'm not saying manageable. It's not like I can't manage it now, but it's just not, it hasn't manifested yet. I need to start seeing some lower lows. This GCI is unbelievable. I mean, it is really a good small cap gapper to trade, even though it's been poop on volume, still poop on volume, 2.5 million shares. That ain't gonna cut it, man. We just need more, but the chart looks fantastic. Look at all this hold up here at the 10 exponential on the 5. It hasn't even touched the 20. So if you were basing your trades on the 10 exponential, and you put your stop a smidge below the 20, or even halfway between the 10 and the 20, you haven't got stopped out. So good luck here for GCI. What is the news on this thing? I'm looking here. Yeah, oh yeah.
I think
Commitment letter to secure a new credit facility. It looks like they're getting more money, Adara. Gannett announces commitment letter to secure a new credit facility to refinance existing debt. So we'll see how much they're able to save. Looks like they're getting a rate of 5%, which isn't half bad. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But yeah, GCI in focus as a result of that. We'll start the lesson in a few minutes. Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I know I was like, oh, Lisa Sue, curses. No, I'm joking. I am back in AMD. This is going to be my last crack at AMD. You got to have sometimes a 3-strike rule. And in this case, this will be my 3rd strike at AMD. That being said, I'm prepared. I'm ready. Why did I like AMD here again? Well, because look at this 150.55 area. We're holding this beautifully on the book. The lowest we have wicked to since I've gotten involved here, 150.45s. Not even. I think it was like 150.48. So we've like 7 pennies out of the money, right? I am risking this into 150.35s, which is kind of the top here of some of these wicks. Now, what's my game plan now that I'm in this trade? You may ask. Maybe you didn't. But if you did, or even if you didn't, I will tell you.
Good.
If we get to 150.80s, that was that like huge area of the bottom of this range. If we break above 150.80s, I'm adding to this position. If we can't, I will be getting out there. That's cool. If we try that, we fail that, I get out. Now, if I add to 150.80s and I can't get what I want to get there, then I'll get out flat. If we get flat, that's cool. But My big white whale level, as I sometimes refer to, I'd love to see what we do at 151. That was certainly an area that I found deeply fascinating on the book, as I discussed here, and on the chart a little bit. You could see that chop and turn here too. But my big white whale level is going to be 150, 150s, Sharif. Now, as I've looked at AMD, now twice I have missed opportunities in Tesla. That's fine. You're not going to get 100% all the cracks at the apple, all the cracks at the whatever, the onion. You're not going to get every opportunity. There's way too many stocks for you to possibly have that. That being said, Tesla, I've been watching the book here. I like what you're doing. Yes, I'm talking to you, Tesla. I'm talking to you, TSLA. Elon Musk have a shot if we get back to 213.50s. I like that area here. Clearly a little bit of resistance previously, but if it wants to come form a support here, I would love to hold up that support. 213.50s. Let's go, Tesla. I don't know what that. Yeah, AMD was like a couple pennies in the money here. Maybe I should have been looking at Tesla instead, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's what aggressive journaling's for, Sharif.
I like it. Dawn Robinson wants to know the name of that trading academy. It goes by the name of the campus program, but sadly, Dawn, it's only open. Should we? Yeah. Could you have it ready, Remmer? Yeah, give me a sec here just to load that bad boy up. I will load it up in 1 second. But yeah, Don, the campus program is essentially real trading. So you're going to be able, you have to be Canadian though. Do you have the screen, Rammer? Okay. All right, let's do it, baby. All right. Attention, Canadian traders. The Real Trading Campus program is back. Are you ready to elevate your game? Our exclusive program is designed to transform you into a real trader. Dive deep into market microstructure, explore diverse marketplaces, and master professional execution techniques. We'll focus on U.S. equities, starting with a carefully curated stock list to optimize your learning. As you progress, you'll gain access to an expanded range of symbols, from order types to venue exploration, I should say. We've got you covered. This isn't about chasing high flyers. It's about building a solid foundation for long-term success. Don't miss this opportunity to join our upcoming cohort and take your trading to the next level. So this is openly open for Canadian traders. However, I should tell you that we are making a lot of efforts to expand this. So keep your eye out or your ear out or whatever other sensory perception you want to use for when we do expand that, because it is coming and it won't be too much longer. So shout out to the best prop firm around these parts. It is real trading, baby. They are the real dang deal. PDD is on the way up here, guys. It's going up to, it looks like it's weaseling its way up to 100. It's above 99. It's only down now, Adair, 29.15%. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Only.
But it's a gnarly looking double bottom, at least for now, off that 96 and change. The left side of the double bottom, a little bit higher than the right, which kind of, to me, obviously I don't know the data on this, but when that happens, usually I'm feeling a little bit more bearish and kind of don't feel the pattern, the reversal pattern, because that's what a double bottom is, will manifest. The way that it manifests, got to break that neckline, the middle of the W, and that comes vis-a-vis a 101.5 break. So we got to clear that 100 first, the $100 level, before we can start talking about this pattern actually manifesting into what it technically is, a reversal pattern. Let's look at some Mag 7 names quick as you like here before we jump into the lesson du jour. I've been talking about this level all day, and I'm going to talk about it again. This is the future. This is a higher low on the future at 19,550. This is the main area crest during that 11:30 spike. We got into 19,637. I think the high was 634. And here we go again. Now we have the higher low. Now we're looking for the higher high. And this could possibly bring the winds of change on these Mag 7 names, where we could at least recover some of the red that we printed today. Apple is looking good here. Now down only 0.4, breaking through VWAP and now knocking the door of $226. I think there is resistance at 226. Look at that print at 745. Look at these prints over here from 945, 950, and 10 o'clock, all of which bounced off 226 as support. We know what support flips into once it's breached. It's called resistance. So keep your eye on 226. Could reject at that level, but Apple putting in a good little recovery here off that 223.89 bottom. Looks like it wants to go about a couple of bucks higher than that. So keep your eye on the future. Topping tail right now on the NQ. Doesn't mean it's going to close out that way, but I am suspicious of the recovery. That's why we're waiting for it to actually manifest before jumping into anything. Passover, dude, nice look, same look, good. So I like how we're thinking alike there. I'm just trying to look at higher lows and higher highs. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I just tell you the truth. So I hope you print up a storm on that. I'm not sure where all my stuff went there, Ram, because I had everything loaded.
I love when tabs just like fly away to who knows where.
I think Ram closed them on my computer when I got up during Neil's lesson of the day. Because I think she just likes to do that, to troll me and make my life harder.
I'm just going to make this face because I have no words about this conspiracy theory.
Yeah, I suspect Ram for everything, quite frankly.
That is actually very, at least you're consistent.
She's very sinister, Adara.
She got me matcha today. How would she?
Yeah, she did ask. Hold on, Ram. I thought you were going to give me a little taste of your matcha there so I could see how it tastes. Thanks, Ram. Thank you. It's okay. All right, we are talking about the rate of change today, ROC for short. This is a momentum oscillator, guys, all right? Not a moving average. This basically calculates overbought and oversold conditions, but I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. Let's talk about some of the basic stuff, understanding the rate of change. So the rate of change, as I mentioned, is a momentum oscillator. It measures the percentage change over a specific period for an instrument, whether you're looking at the future, looking at Tesla or some of these small cap gappers, measures the rate of change. It can help you also not just measure the rate of change, but identify those overbought and oversold areas. Remember, I know another momentum oscillator that does the exact same thing. It's called the relative strength index. This one, though, does it a little bit differently, so it's good to get a couple of looks here. Here's a calculation for all my math nerds out there. If you really want to know what the calculation is, not like we really care about it because the software does all the charting for us, but essentially the rate of change is the closing price of today minus the closing price of N periods ago divided by the closing price of N periods ago multiplied by 100. That's why we don't do the math around here. N here is the number of periods used in the calculation. It's going to make more sense in a minute because there's no one specific amount of time that you have to chart off. So if you're looking for the last month, because you're like you're a swing trader, you typically hold things for a few weeks, then you will want one specific window. If you hold things for 3 months, you're going to want a different window. If you hold things for 3 days, you're going to want a different window. So the end period here should really be based upon what your time frame for trading is. And everybody's is a little bit different, and so it's a bit customizable like that. So how do we interpret the rate of change? So what do the readings give us and what are the readings? So a positive reading on the ROC, that'll indicate that the price is closing higher than it was N days ago. And a negative ROC will indicate that the price is closing lower than it was N days ago. But that's not really what we're looking for. We already can look at the price and see that it's above or below the price of whatever 14 days, 20 days ago. That's not the point. The point really here is to use the ROC's chart versus the price action, and to look for either convergence or divergence. Divergence is a better look for predicting the future than convergence. You already know the price is making higher highs by looking at the price action. You don't need the rate of change to confirm that for you. You can see it on the price. What you're looking at the rate of change for is to see if there's price action ROC divergence in the same way that we do with MACD, in the same way that we do with RSI. So divergence, when the ROC diverges from its price, it can signal a potential reversal. For example, if the price is making new highs, but the rate of change indicator makes lower highs, it can indicate to you a bearish divergence, and this is a leading indicator. That's what we call leading and lagging, where example, the moving averages are all lagging. So some common ROC periods, we were talking about this N period and your specific trading time frame. Here are some common time frames, but by no means should you feel like you're restricted by these. The common ones are 9, 12, and 26. However, the optimal period, as I alluded to, will depend on your time frame and your specific trading style. Intraday traders will obviously have a shorter time frame. Swing traders will have longer ones, but swing traders are not all created equal. Some trade on days, weeks, and some in months. So that should definitely influence the end value for your rate of change. So how do you use ROC? Like, what's the move here? First and foremost, you can use it, as we alluded to earlier, to identify those overbought and those oversold conditions. RSI does the same thing in a different way. So if you're above 70 on the RSI index, you're set to be generally overbought. You're below 30, generally said to be oversold. In this particular instance, when the ROC reaches extreme levels, like above 90 or below minus 90, it can suggest the market is either bought or oversold, so it kind of has that same function. But it can also confirm trends for its use. So a rising ROC, a rate of change, can confirm an uptrend, while a falling ROC can confirm a downtrend. And last but not least here, we talked about this, identifying divergences. As mentioned earlier, divergences between the ROC and the price can signal a potential reversal, whether up or down. And it's a leading indicator in that sense, not lagging. So the rate of change versus some other oscillators, we mentioned this earlier, the stochastic oscillator, the relative strength index, all kind of do similar things. ROC similar to other momentum oscillators like the RSI and the stochastics. However, the ROC focuses specifically on the rate of change in the price, and that's all it does. The RSI and the stochastics, they take other things into consideration, so it gets a little bit more convoluted there. Some tips for using the rate of change indicator: experiment, like I mentioned with moving averages last week, experiment with different periods. This is very important because it's going to be specifically based on your trading style. Try different rate of change periods to find the one that works best for your trading style and your trading time frame, and look to combine it with other indicators. I just finished telling you stochastics and RSI do the same thing. So maybe have a look to see whether or not your instrument is overbought or oversold on the ROC, and whether that overbought or oversold condition also exists on the RSI. Does it also exist on the stochastics? If they're not, then they're not jiving. Is there a reason why they're not jiving? What happened in the past when they didn't jive? Did it go your way based on your setup, or did it go against you? You need to be aware of all these type of data points for you to make informed trading decisions. And last but not least, be aware of the limitations of the rate of change. It can generate false signals, sadly, especially like moving averages in those choppy markets that are consolidative, a little high, a little low, or those very initial, big move, the initial volatility can also be bamboozling there and give you some false signals. So be aware of those limitations, Adair.
Yeah, I'm definitely started to the rate of change at ROC. I'm a little bit of a math nerd, so I literally said to Sharif, I was so excited about this lesson. I'm excited we're going to get into it one more time just after that 1 p.m. hour. Also, if there's any stickers you're looking at, we just shouted out Real Trading, and they also, in addition to being one of our lovely sponsors here, shout out to them, they also, we are brought to you, this lovely segment brought to you by Real Trading, because real tickers that real people in the chat are looking at, we'll look at here on that afternoon segment. When I say we, I mean those big kahunas. I mean Sean. I mean Neil. Also, I was just thinking, Sharif, it's very apropos that you call them the big kahunas, because they did once go dress up as Pulp Fiction. And we know in that movie they have Big Kahuna Burger.
I like it, Adara.
I really like that very meta film connection there. Also, I'm not in meta. That'd be really dope. Trope transition if I was in meta, but I am in SPCE. We're about 50 cents of the money here on SPCE. I want to talk about this. I said if I was going to go back in the sim, and again, not for forever, for today, we'll see what happens, maybe a couple of days here, but I went back in the sim because I didn't like how I was trading last week. Specifically, I wasn't trusting myself enough. There was an opportunity on Lily that I had, that I saw, that I loved, that I managed appropriately the first time. I had enough risk for it, but I didn't get back in because I was like, oh, it's not a day trade stock, whatever. What is that, Dara? If you like the opportunity, why are you not getting back in if you have the enough risk to take it? So with all of that in mind, this is the type of trading I was trying to do when I went back in the sim, trying to take these opportunities to take stocks I like, levels I like, size I like, trading them the way I like in the sim so I can get comfortable enough to do that in the live again. Right now, here, what I want to do with SMCI is look at this resistance we had earlier, okay? Around that 568. Then we see we flip to support. Now, to be clear, initially to me this looked a little umbrella handle-ish, which we know for me, umbrella handle pattern, continuation to the downside, or if it's an inverse umbrella handle, continuation to the upside, we see a sharp little scoop, and then things continue back to how they were. However, we had that push up here, but look then how we just chilled at the 90 MA. We're just chilling. I said, Adara, get involved 567.50s. Do not chase. If you don't get your fill, you don't get your fill. And you're risking to 566. So you're risking $1.50. For me, for SMCI, that's very reasonable. What do I want in terms of profit? Well, I'm going to be getting half the position here at 572s. The risk to reward here, very reasonable. It's about 3-1 actually, which I can certainly live with. It's about just shy of 572 there, so slightly below, I guess. But that's what I was trying to do here in SMCI. Also, why I liked it as a long is because the book here, as we were kind of edging towards 568 at the time, I was seeing what I wanted to see. So just to clarify, my biggest thing with spready tickers that will get me involved in a long is if you've got a certain level here in the ask, and then in the bid we're creeping towards it, couple cents at a time, however it is, or if we're holding the bid and then the ask is creeping up. Either way, I want to see upward creeping. If I'm looking for a short on these spreadier tickers, I want to see downward creeping. So I want to see this creeping down on the ask and holding the bid. I feel very sadly for Sharif because he looks very upset. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is, yeah, I know it's easier to say you take a stock like SPCE in the sim than if you take it live. But the thing is, I've taken this live too. I just want, and as I said, I really wanted to use my opportunity as I'm giving myself this, I want to say timeout. I want to say opportunity in the sim to kind of take an opportunity to hone my abilities. I want to be able to trade stocks I would have been trading live anyway. So we're about over $1 in the money here in SPCE in the sim. Let's see how this goes. I do not want to count any chickens before they hatch because those chickens can run away from you in the stocks like SMCI. We know this. So right now, it's a pretty super sim position. We'll see how this goes. This is the whole point of having conviction, though. Dang. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? The issue is when I was live, I was not believing in myself. Here I am. I believed in this opportunity. I took it. We're going to see what we get here. Also, if we come to 569 here and we get a little bit weak, I will take out half the position here as well, because that's my thing is if I'm going to be in a trade like SNCI, I'm not going to take less than a 1-to-1. But I will take a 1-to-1. So if we can't hold 569s, I will take out half here because that's 1-to-1. I was risking $1.50. I'll take $1.50. I'll hold pieces for dreams though too, because we love dreams over here.
Oh yeah.
On how to trade. Wow, what a day, Sharif. Hasn't it been such a... I love trading. I'm so happy to be back here. I do want to shout out you and Obi for killing it there. Hashtag Sharobi. No, I'm joking. I guess it works better with Adobe because Adobe's actually a ticker. But shout out to Sharif and Obi for killing it on Friday. And shout out to Obi again for covering for me. I'm sure we had lots of oh boy moments. But that being said, I'm always so happy to be back here on this desk with all of you guys. Let's see what we do in this bid. As we get that 569, we're going to take out half here. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm looking at Apple. Apple's above 226 now. So this is the level that we were talking about here that I want to get short. I'm not going to have a resting order. The market has to reject and Apple has to show me that there is selling, but I'm very interested at this level. So this is the area we were talking about. So it's a little higher than 226, sadly, but I was looking at 226 because it's a whole dollar level. So this is the area right at 226 1/3 to 226 1/4. Lots of top bottoming tails, 815 bottoming tail, 925 bottoming tail, 930, as well as after the bell at 940, all of which came in to 226 1/4, 226 1/3, and then rejected. Apple has done one hell of a job rejecting off the lows. It's 223.89 as the low, so I think this is quite extended. Let's look to get short. I'm not going to have a resting order in and around it. It's going to have to prove to me that there is selling at that level, and then we'll look to get involved with the trade. I saw some tags here, so I want to cover them. Scott Edwards, can you take a peek at Mullen, good sir, testing the resistance levels? Absolutely. How polite is that? How could I say no to Mr. Scott Edwards? Let's look at MULN. Wayne really likes to laugh, eh?
I love Wayne's laugh. It's such like a feel good.
I can probably hear it from next door. So it's good there.
Very boisterous.
Wainers. Love him. Yeah, great rounded bottom here, man. Okay, so let me start off with the daily. Let's see if there's anything afoot with the daily. Whoa, wow. That's all I see is just weakness. Okay, so zooming in on the daily. Yeah, wow, Mullen. My God, days at a time. It can go weeks at a time without a green day. My goodness. And then it'll get one green day out of like 30. That's insane. All right, so it seems to have found a bit of a base at the $0.25. It's at 56 pennies the high today. Eek. Wow, Mullen. All right, let's look at the 5-minute. It's a great trade off VWAP. But it does seem to have more respect for the 20 exponential than any other moving average on the 5-minute. Here's what I see, Scott. This is the 1045 print, bounces off the 20. 1050 print, bounces off the 20. 1110. Bounces off the 20. You see where I'm going with this? 1145 bounces off the 20. And then it starts printing north, or it starts printing closing prints at north of 20. And then over here on this way up, this like 10 candle, 5-6 candle green. Really all the wicks off the 20. Did we break the high of day? We did. So almost 57 pennies here. versus this 10-15 high that we had initially. Let's see if we keep going here because we're looks like we're finding some resistance. But yeah, good call out. It's going to either be off the 20 exponential or the VWAP here. I'm not going to take anything at highs. I don't take anything in the middle. It's going to have to be off either the 20 exponential on the 5-minute or off the volume weighted average price, which as we know is the same on all time frames. So yeah, good luck there for Mullen. Is there a reason why this thing is up?
Yeah, there was some story here with this UAE company.
Oh, good call. Here it is. So this is the Mullen headline. Shares are trading high after the company secured a purchase agreement with UAE's Volt Mobility. That's another $200 million in cash. As per the deal, Volt will acquire 3,000 Class 1 and Class 3 EV cargo vans. Oh, so they're kind of doing like a Rivian type of Amazon delivery truck kind of thing. Volt plans to lease these vehicles to corporate customers across Middle East, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. Okay, cool. So $3 million. Mullen will receive $3 million deposit within 60 days. Okay, so that's not that much cash. And what I was reading this for was to see how much cash injection they're going to get, because we know these EV companies burn through cash like you wouldn't believe. So it's really about on-hand cash that's going to keep the lights on here. Good look, good look. Nothing bad to say about that. Obviously, this is a multi-day possible headline. This could be a multi-day play. So we get the big spike up today, and then if investors like that, we'll see where it goes tomorrow. But yeah, Mullen, good look. Evo hugs. Sharif, if I already own NVIDIA shares purchased at $107 and I trade options at a higher price, say $130, and profit from the trade, will that affect my average purchase price of $107? No. Your options trades are absolutely exclusive of your equity trades. That's all you need. Unless you are going to actually take possession of the options, the shares at the end of the expiration of the options. That's really where it's going to affect your equity trade. My understanding is they don't affect each other. Am I correct? The Katina man says I'm correct. So that's a look there. Play with that thinking in mind. That's Katina man's understanding. I'm pretty sure that that's accurate too. If I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. Much appreciated, says Scott Edwards. Bears versus Bulls says right, and I know he trades options. Shout out to the world's greatest moderator there. What's your look?
My look is we had a profitable SMCI trade. I'm pleased as punch. I got out, again, in the sim, got out half of this, $1.50 in the money, because I said I did, if I saw anything, I was a little about at 569, because I got involved 567.50. I didn't want to get out of SMCI anything above a 1-to-1. So, or anything less than a 1-to-1. So I got my 1-to-1. Then I saved the rest. Let's see what we do at break even. At break even, we couldn't hold 567.50. I got out. So I was profitable in this trade in the sim. Really happy with what I did here. This is a trade I would take live, and I want to clarify as well, because I saw, you know what I mean? Like, I know I did have confidence. I believed in myself in the live, but clearly not enough, because there were trades that were absolutely playable, Lily last week, that I should have taken, that I didn't take because I got in my head. And the thing is, too, is it's like, honestly, as Sharif said, and one thing that Sharif said to me last week that was huge, was like, you're the only one who knows how to trade in the way that you trade. Bang. Right? So if you're seeing things that you like, if it's playbook, why are you not taking it? And so I know I can sound a little corny, a little cheesy, whatever, believing in yourself, but honestly, it's huge. Because no one else is going to believe in that trade for you. No one else knows how you trade. No one else knows what style, what approach that you're comfortable taking. So that's what I have to say to that. I can recognize the little bit, after school special at times, or a little bit Degrassi, like the 80s version. I'm okay with that. If it works for you, if your style works for you, whatever you have to say to yourself to get out of bed in the morning to get into that trade, I think that's valid. I don't mind sounding corny if it works. And in this case, it worked in SMCI. So that's going to be that on that. Shout out to Trying to Ticket the Trading Turtle. Shout out to Sean and his banana. I don't know why he's on screen, but he is. Hi, Sean. How are you doing, Sean? I'm good. Thank you. Please just punch there. I'm going to press the confident button because I can. We just had Sean on the screen there. But that's really, like, honestly, confidence is huge. Conviction is huge. It's not just a Law and Order show. It's a way of life. Oh. It's approach to trading. If you see stuff you like, go for it. Sink your teeth into that trade. That being said, I have no interest in getting back into SMCI right now as a long. I had my pop. I took my pop, was profitable on my pop. I'm going to stop saying the word pop now. But levels I like here, stocks I like here at levels. You guys know, maybe you don't, I love SPY hold dollar breaks. As I said, my only two SPY playbooks are hold dollar breaks or we come to areas I previously liked. I clearly like this level in the SPY because I drew a big line here. So I love this repeated rejection here of this 561.60 area. That being said, I'm not getting into this buy unless we pop above into that 561.70s. Then I'd be looking for a 562 break. Why? Because I like whole dollar breaks, and I also like if we can break above this area. That's confluence to me.
Ooh.
Shout out to Obi there with confluence. If we get that confluence, I want all the smoke. The other stock I like here that I said I will only ever trade, usually is a book scalp, but if I like stuff in the chart, I'll take that as well. Tesla. I missed my Tesla 213 break for that reason, and not only that reason, but chiefly that reason. I don't want to hop into this all willy-nilly because I know I missed my break. I want to avoid any kind of appearance of revenge trading. I sounded really legal. I don't know, appearance of bias. I don't want this to seem revenge trading, so I'm waiting to see what we do. If we try back above 214 and we hold it, I like that look. That being said, I also like the 213.50 bounce. So even if this ends up forming as a range like 213.50, 214, you guys know I love ranges. We used to call them Madeira Panera ranges.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm cool with that. I got the conviction. I got the confidence. Shout out to Eddie R saying, preach, Adara, preach. Shout out to you, Eddie R. I'm happy to be here with you guys every single day. I know
Adara, yeah.
well, thank you. I know everyone has different approaches, and so I do want to shout out, I know my style's a little bit different, but I know we have some SMCI traders in the chat. I know we have some traders with spready names, so I'm always happy to bring the heat for those. And if anyone has any names they want to look at, definitely let me know today. I'm trying to be trading a little bit less and looking and listening and waiting a little bit more. A-Light Services as saying, did she just bite air? I might have. I do a lot of weird gestures. Go these markets. I want to hear about what you're doing here, though, in that
I did exactly what I wanted to do. I told you I wanted to take 226 short, and it just dropped. We just took 20 pennies, quick as you like that. So I'm happy about this one. I fat fingered, sadly, so I had to flatten out there. I actually got out 2 positions, one larger than the other, so I actually got long, so I hit the flatten button super quick there. But I had the right idea. I'm looking to get short again if this one continues to drop. So we know that there is resistance at 226 1/4, at 226 1/3. That takes us to the pre, and it's after the bell. It's both. So Apple, I'm thinking, a healthy retracement into the volume weighted average price, 225.5, not beyond the realm of possibility, especially in light of the fact that we did come down on the futures again. So we are having all sorts of trouble today. Now, the other side of that coin is I don't want to get so, narrowly focused on one price level because there's a bigger picture at play here. And the bigger picture at play that I can't lose sight of is higher lows and higher highs off the bottom. And that really has to influence how I look at this. So what I'm like this really long spiel over here is to say that we have been very aggressive to the high side on Apple since exactly 10:40 this morning. That is the longer than 2 hours, okay? That always happens, though, in the way that you end up flushing a lot quicker than you end up moving back up. Now, why am I saying all this? Because, yes, you may have that local area of resistance at 226 1/4, 226 1/3, but you only may get 1 or 2 trades off that before it gets breached. And the point is to always make sure that you're very kind of in tune with the actual trend and not with the level, right? So you know what I'm saying?
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
You keep this girl, eh? What am I gonna do with her, Patty?
Ramin's booing of you aside.
Yeah, bro.
I think it's a
See
good
how
point.
she bullies me, Adira? Anyway.
Let's go.
No, but seriously though, like at the level, I kept looking at the level only to forget that there was a very aggressive trend to the high side for the better part of 2 hours. So that's just what I wanted to say. You may get the trade, but it only may be 1 or 2 times, and it only may be I'm not going to give a value because every stock is different, but like for a $200 name, you may get 30 pennies, 50 pennies before it pumps up and makes that new high again. So don't get obsessed with the level. Keep your eye on the trend, but obviously goes without saying the level is important. Anyway, so that's my look right now, keeping an eye to see if we break through 19.6. It looks like on the future right now, we did dip into 19.6, only to find buyers. This is the candle right there. We dip in, looks like into the low was 19.546. That doesn't make any sense. That can't be right. Yeah, there, I was looking at the wrong one. 604. So we do defend that level. Armando Zapata. Apple looking like resistance on hourly chart, EMA 50 and EMA 10. Let's look at the hourly because that's not one I usually look at when I chart. You look at the half an hour or the 4 hour, but absolutely, let's look at the hourly.
Yeah, that Apple 226 area spicy, I will say for Armando. I do agree.
I absolutely as well because we were looking to chart off there. And look how long Apple's been in a range. Very long time now. This is the hourly, and each one of these is a day, right? Yeah, so each one of these is a day. So we've been in a tight range on Apple. I think we sell off before we make new highs. That's just my bias. Without evidence, obviously, it's just an inclination because it's an election year. And I don't think the market takes a stance unless they know who's going to be in power for the next 4 years. That's just my bias.
I'll see.
So that's a look on Apple. Let's see what he's talking about there with respect to the moving averages. I want to see that. So the 50 and the 10 on the hourly. Oh, okay. You're absolutely right. So the red one over here, the red solid, not the dotted, the solid, that's the 50 exponential on the hourly. And it is rejecting that, but it's very close to taking it out, Armando, because if it takes out that 226.25, well, that's exactly where the 50 period is hanging out on the hourly. So shout out to you. I like how you're charting off a level that's consistent, though. Ram's telling everyone to like and subscribe. I'm very nice. He's gaslighting y'all, or else. Come on, Ram. Tell
Just
the people the truth. Tell the people the truth, Ram. So that's a look there. Let's check the small cap gappers. Totally forgot to look at these. I saw you guys yelling about Faraday. Fifi did get a little bit of a bump there. I remember from Thursday and Friday we were trading Fifi. Yeah, I know. So this one had a great day when you and I were on the show on Thursday.
Yes.
And then it did things, as you can see here, on Friday when you were gone. But this was actually when you were here, I think, Adair, because this was like early in the morning at 9:45. Went green to red, bit of a V-shaped retracement. Yeah. And now we're having trouble with $8. $7.98 HOD. And the closing print from Friday or from Thursday is $8. So it looks like we're having trouble with $8 at the 10 exponential on the 5 right now at about 742. But I'm not gonna trade this one today. It's without a catalyst. It's been multiple days without a catalyst. So we're gonna let Faraday cook and see what is afoot there. Let's look at some other ones. GCI, we were preaching up a storm about how GCI was holding the moving averages, but the volume was low. Well, that may be coming to an end now. So the first time on the day, we actually get a closing print below the 10 exponential on the 5. Not the first time on the day, but since 11 o'clock, First area I'm looking for possible support, 570. The 20 exponential on the 5. That doesn't hold. Then I'm looking for the previous area crest. So look at this area here at 550 to about 555. Let's look for this area to hold. And to be honest with you, I like that area a bit better than any 20 exponential moving average because that's where VWAP is hanging out. So you want the $0.50, the area crest, VWAP, all pointing to one area. You may not get it after all, but keep your eye out on it. GCI still in play. Kava gave you multiple trades off the volume weighted average price until it didn't. You got one bounce here, you got to trade off it. You got a bounce here at 10.55, another trade, and yet another one at 12.10. They're starting to run out of opportunities though. So now actually breaking down and closing for the first time on the day below the volume weighted average price. This is an obvious big boy earnings winner from last week. Very much a surprise, very much counter to its competitors in the fast food business. Absolutely outperforming them in the kind of the same way that CMG has to some of its competitors. Courtney Smith, what do you think about Rivian? On the day or in general? Because on the day and in general are, two separate things completely. Let's have a look intraday and see what the situation is on Rivian. Kind of consolidative today. Bit of a double top there at 14 2/3. Doesn't give you much of a move. You get down into about $0.01 of a dollar. We're whiffling and waffling now at $0.33 of a dollar. That's the best move, in my humble opinion, intraday, is to take the double top and then ride it down for a few pennies. As a company overall, I'm waiting. I want to see what the R2 looks like. We have the R1T and the R1S. They're very expensive. They're amazing cars, but they're very expensive. So what's the market, the TAM, total addressable market for them? Very small. So we need that R2. We need that R3 to make it more available to the masses. Now, to scale, you need a lot of capital, a lot of crying, a lot of couches at the gigafactories. Obviously, we're talking about the Tesla stencil here. But I need proof that they can do it.
Elon also said if RJ's not going to sleep at the factory, what are you doing, bro? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Elon seems to know what he's doing.
That's fair. That is fair.
Quite frankly, I don't have an opinion in the long term because I need to see more. If they can scale, I think obviously you're going to see something there. We don't see him as much as they see him down south, I feel.
No.
I see him here, but not as much.
I feel like it's always really notable when I see one because I don't see that many. So like when I see a Tesla, I feel like you see a lot of Teslas, right? When I see a Tesla, my brain might be like, oh, it's a Tesla because it's a nice vehicle. Also because I have this theory that Tesla Uber drivers are sometimes a little salty. So that's also my thing. If I see a Tesla Uber, I'm always like, oh. But I'll just, note, all love to anyone who drives a Tesla. Like I said, I've just noticed a certain pattern with Uber drivers in Toronto. But I don't see that many Rivians. So you're right. It's always more notable when you see them. Speaking of Tesla.
Can I just finish the question?
Do. Sorry.
Courtney says, do you think they can become profitable? There's only one EV company, from my understanding, other than BYD, okay, because they're not a full EV company. They started obviously with ICE engines and then went to hybrids, and now they have an exclusive EV line. But the only pure EV play in the entire world that's profitable, you know what the ticker is. You know what the ticker is. So can they be profitable? I know one company's done it. That's not great, obviously, in terms of odds. But hey, man, if not Rivian, then who?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm in that profitable EV company. I'm involved in TSLA. Am I profitable at it? Not yet. Optimism. But no, I'm joking. All jokes aside, had the first short here, 59s, 213 59s, or 49, sorry. So I said I like this level. And you guys know what my thing is. I'm always willing to flip the style up, right? If I see something I thought was going to hold a support, it's not, we show it as resistance, I'll take it as a short then. I'm cool with that. I was risking this into 70s, which is a level I really liked in the book for Tesla. Took us a long time. We eventually broke 70s. I got out. Exactly how I wanted to play this trade. But then we get into 70s. That's where I got out. Can we really get above 70s in a salient way? We could not. So I go, Dara, why don't you get back in the short? So I did. I did get back in the short. We're 10 pennies in the money. This is a much smaller position than the first one. Much. Like there's not a huge difference, but it is smaller than the first position here. I'm willing to add if we get nicely below this 35 level here, because that's a level Tesla's really struggling with. I'm still willing to risk here into 213.70s. If we break above that level again, I will have to get out. But I know Tesla has been really with that level. We're making lower highs here too. Since I was watching this, like we got above 213.70s. We haven't even gone to 213.60s yet. Heck, I don't even think we've gone to 213.55s yet. So this thing is getting weaker. Obviously, if I see a change in the tide, as Sharif says, I will have to be running out of, away from this ocean. And we might get the change of the tide because this is the highest we've been at since I was last involved here, breaking above here into that 213.60s. Let's see what we get, though. I'm not getting out until or unless we get to 213.70s. I do want that smoke. Now, in terms of profit taking, you may ask Adara, what is the vibe here? I want at least 213.20s. I think that's an area we've worked to. If we get below that, I do want some smoke there. I want to be getting out. Like I said, I'll add if I see a nice, tasty, meaty break below 213.35. Now, Tesla, I've noticed, does not always really give a hoot what is going on here with the futures. That being said, it is worth noting we have a little bit of a curl here in the futures. We're curling below view up, but you could also argue we have higher lows and higher highs and a flat or a flagpole, right? So with that in mind, I want to be very, very cognizant of Tesla here. We could break higher. That being said, I've noticed of all of the Mag 7 names, Tesla seems to move either both the least in tune with the futures and also sometimes actively the opposite of what the futures are doing. So that's also a caveat here. Also worth noting, I don't think I really talked about this trade much, and that is definitely my bad. So I want to talk about my AMD trade from a while ago. I had this long here at we got involved initially, I think 150. We got involved 150.55s. Added once we got, that was the beginning of the short. Got involved here 150.55s. Like I said, if we get above 150.80s significantly, I add. I did. Then I actually got out some here at 151s. Then we added. Is this what I did? Yes, this is what I did. Then we added here when we got back to 150.88s. Then we got out flat. It hadn't gotten any higher since then, so happy with how I managed the AMD. 151 continuing to be a deep level of interest to me for AMD. I just wanted to address that trade because I had not yet, and I was like, I should do that. And let me add here, I said if we get saliently below 35s, you know who's adding to Tesla? Me.
Got it.
Right now, I'll be getting out at 213.50s here now that I've averaged up. If we get above 213.50s, I say bye-bye, and I take my 7-cent hit. If we don't, I want blood.
Get down.
I want a blood red Tesla. I want that red wrap for my Cybertruck, Sharif. Also, I just love the little tongue sticking out there for PD. Oh, yes, Sharif, shout out to you. I'm gasping for you. It's not for me. We're like basically flat on this, but I want to shout you out. Don't worry, guys. We will be doing that lesson soon. If you're here for learning and knowledge, we are called How to Trade, so we do give you lessons. That's kind of how it goes. But we'll give that lesson soon. I want to be out of this Tesla before we do Lesla. because I know I am in the sand, but that does not mean I'm taking these trades any less seriously. I think this has been a really good exercise for me to just be back in taking trades based on their merit, not worrying about P&L, only working about progress and learning. We got back above that 213.50, so I got out. This might have been a bit overzealous, but I'm trying to work on those exit rules. In this case, that was my exit rule. I want to hear about the trade that had you so excited your tongue was sticking out.
I can tell you how well I paper traded. Paper-handed, not paper trade. This is live. But I paper-handed the trade. Shout out to my man there in the chat, Back to the Future, PDD minus $41. You know what that minus 41 equals? Minus 30% on a company that reported a 100% year-over-year increase in revenue and over 100% in gross margins, yada, yada. You know the story, but this is a perfect example of there are no good or bad earnings. It's better or worse. Shout out to the big kahunas who say that all the time. So here's a look. Obviously charting on the 1 minute has its fair share of detractors, and more sympathetic I could not be to their issues with that. But what I see is what I see. And we know that these chart patterns are fractal. Their failure rate goes high the lower down the time frame you go, but they're fractal. I saw a head and shoulders, and I saw essentially a nice move up prior to the head and shoulders. So everything checked out. Move up, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, with the neck line, in my humble opinion, being that 99.50. Okay? So you work your way up to $100.50. You drop down to 99.50. You make a lower high, i.e. right shoulder at 100, and you drop big below that 99.50. So I really wanted to get short to front run the breach of 99.50, and I said, Sharif, wait till you actually get the price action confirmation so it doesn't go 50 pennies, $1 against you because you front run it. So I waited. Obviously, PDD being the animal that it is, it didn't give me the best price. So I had to chase it a little bit, but I was able to extract 50 pennies on it, and could have done a little bit more over here as it did weasel its way into 98.50. So now, number one, I'm looking for lower highs now. So things or crests that crest below $100 or at $100 or just below $100 because I'm looking for a lower high. I think we've done as good as we can do in terms of a bounce back there from $96 to $100.50. That's a gnarly little move, and I think we either whiffle or waffle consolidative wise, or we move right back down. So I'm going to be looking at $100 to see what it does around there and whether it can put in a lower high or use 100 as resistance. I'll look to get short again on PDD. I took it long, I took it short, I'll take it whichever way it gives me. Another area of entry could be a 98.50 flat bottom, or that's not a flat bottom break, but it's a making of a newer low. So if you're basing this 98.50 as the area trough, well then a break below that usually means a newer low. So PDD absolutely in play today, both long and short, because it gave you this really good recovery off that 96 hold. And let me show you what happened prior to that 96. Why'd I get in at this 96 and change area? Because of this double bottom over here. So you can see patterns intraday. They're absolutely fractal.
I like practical and fractal.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't talk, Adara. I got to change the Invisalign. It's just absolutely damaged. Randy, did you see Mullen today? Yeah, it's recovering. And what's it called? They got... Who's that one that got the order?
Volt in the UAE.
Volt, that's it for Mullen,
Volt Mobility.
Right? Yeah, they bought some of those delivery vans.
$210 million order.
You heard about this? Did you see your buddy Trudeau put in that 100% tax on the EVs? So now it's a North America protection thing. What, Mexico's got it, United States has got it, and now we've got it. So you can't bring it in North America. Yeah, well, there it is. Shout out to Randy. The EV indicator, as he's known around these parts, Randy's rants. And then that's the Mara indicator back there.
You got indicators for everything.
Yeah, we got indicators for everything, Adara.
We do.
That's the way it is around here.
It is.
All right, so what's your look?
Yeah, so we had a bit of a move down here in these markets. I wanted to look at NVIDIA bear flag for so a couple people I heard mention it. Most recently, I saw Random Oddities mentioning it, but not the only person I've heard mentioning this. Also, I got out of Tesla break even and then it drops 50 cents. That's how it goes sometimes. You know what I mean? You get stopped out, you brush it off your shoulders, and you look for the next trade.
Bang.
I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna, cry over spilt shares. It was break even, so But not the point. NVIDIA, bear flag is fair. Someone was specifically saying the 15-minute chart random oddities. I don't dislike this, but I think it's worth noting here, and we still have this even with this push down in the market. On a wick basis here, we do have higher lows. That is a very bullish wick as well at this 126.40. I think 126.40 could be pivotal for NVIDIA. That was where we were at in the 15-minute candle before we had that wick below. 3 minutes left till this candle closes. I am not the 15-minute candle expert. I know Obi uses these a lot. I usually will, if I use like a wider time frame, I'll use a 10 or 15, but I definitely am not charting it to that extent. If we close at or above 126.40, I would say look for higher highs and higher lows. That is huge support, especially because it's not like we have 126.40 and a lower high. We have 126.40 and a higher high.
And
so if we close above that level, I would say this could be bullish. That being said, we just tried it and pushed back below. I also do think in general, we have that general bear flag look with that push down in the chip and chop, but be aware, patterns don't always manifest how you think they're going to, and as Sharif says, they're very fractal.
Oh, yeah.
Also, a couple of things I want to mention before we get to that lesson here. There was something else that there was a comment that made me laugh that was kind of punished. A Randy RJ3 in the chat saying, I'm up $1 in Dollar General, or in general, up $1. So shout out to you. Great pun. Happy to hear, generally happy to hear that anybody's up $1, but also happy to hear you're up $1 in Dollar General. So I love those puns. Also, I was talking to Tammy in the chat saying, hey, she was like, hey, have you been profitable since going live? And I said, like, no, I've struggled with that. I've had a couple of profitable weeks, but you know what the thing is, it's always going to be a process. I'm always very grateful as well to be on this floor. Shout out to Real Trading, where you can have those opportunities to learn and grow every single day. And that's why I'm back in the sim for a little bit, just kind of get my sea legs back before I swim back into the water. Shout out to Ariel.
But I know you almost had a profitable month.
I did almost have a profitable month.
And that's tough to do in of itself on the floor.
I appreciate that.
So,
Thank
the
you.
fact that you were able to do it, like
Almost,
I think a couple of trading months in. So
I really appreciate that, and that's why I think like you got to work on these processes every single day. I'm definitely going to be in the sim at least today. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. But I'm just trying to find my sea legs, because if you can get into the swing of things in the sim, I guess swing is a weird word to use when you're talking about day trading. But if you can get into the scalp of things, maybe, then you're all good there. I am actually, NVIDIA was not one I was looking at, but I'm very curious about that 640 hold. We're going to do that lesson now, though.
Is there Uber news?
There was
People are
earlier today,
saying-
but nothing new I was seeing.
Okay, cool.
I'll check if there's anything new. Earlier today, they were hit by the Dutch regulator here, antitrust regulator, with regards to sharing driver information.
Okay.
That was the story there.
Got it.
It wasn't on the watch list because there was not a ton of volume at the time. But that $324 million fine, not seeing anything pop up on the Twittered one over here. Oh, sorry, they did actually have an announcement here, it looks like. So this is a different catalyst.
Okay.
Uber and Coco announcing a strategic partnership to launch Coco's sidewalk robots on Uber Eats.
Oh, I like that.
That's pretty cool.
Have you seen some of the videos of what people in LA, the great people of LA, what they do to some of these robots that walk
but
on
I'm
the
scared.
side? YouTube's there when you're free. When you're free, check it out.
When I'm free and mentally ready, it sounds like.
Yeah, when you're mentally, that's another good point there, Dara. Yeah, it's interesting. Shout out to the people in LA. You guys are the best. Here it is, guys. In case anybody wants to see it, Uber and Coco announced strategic partnership. There it is. Thank you, Dara, for bringing that in. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see that right away because that's why I was confused. But happy I was able to deliver that. Thank you, everyone in our chat, to let us know. Henry Catch saying that's why Serve is dying. Yeah, that makes sense because Serve's another robotics company, right? So if they're like hanging out with Coco, Serve might get a little bit like, oh, we got, why aren't you serving us with some news? So that makes sense there. And then also shout out to the Piper saying that they are up 95 cents and 5 below. You're not 5 below, you're 95 cents above. So shout out to you there. Please as punch for you. And I'm also pleased as punch to talk about the Rockefeller rate of change over here, ROC. Today, I got to make puns. This is what we do in How to Trade. So let's talk about understanding the rate of change. It's a momentum oscillator that measures the percentage change in price over a specific period, which can help you to identify overbought and oversold positions. Because if you've got a large rate of change to the upside or downside, you might think, how much farther can this go? How low can we go? How high can we go? When does the trend bend? When do we get a mean reversion? That's what you got to look for here, right? And it can also help you identify changes in the rate of price movements, not just the extent, but also the rate of this movement. So here's the calculation of the ROC, or the ROC. You have your closing price today minus your closing price however many periods ago. So choose your period, whatever period that is. Let's say you want to see the rate of change over the last 10 days. So then you go closing price today minus closing price 10 days ago, okay?
Dang.
Then you're going to divide that by the closing price 10 days ago times 100. That's how you're going to get, and again, you don't have to use 10. The N is there because you can use however many days. Let's say you want to know from the last earnings. You find however many days that was. Find that price. Use that. Ideas.
Great idea.
Let's say you want to know the ROC on NVIDIA. You can find out what NVIDIA's ROC in their last earnings. Use that price versus their price today. So that could be, I think, kind of a fun area thing to do there. And again, the number of periods using the calculation, you can use whatever number you would like for N. That's why it's an N, because it stands for number. And you pick your number, whatever number of periods you like. So how do you interpret ROC? Well, positive ROC can indicate the price is closing higher than it did at periods ago, so it's been growing since that time. A negative ROC indicates the price is closing lower than it did end periods ago. Also, I just realized, I guess if you want to do for like a split name, maybe you want to split adjust the price. I just realized if you do that with Chipotle,
very good point.
What, like 60 trading days ago, you're going to get a wonky little number. Same with MSTR, same with NVIDIA, same with AVGO. Because we've had so many splits this year, definitely if you're going to use one of these, I would say use the split adjusted price.
Absolutely
by half per chance. So I just thought of that and wanted to shout that out. I love math, so thank you for letting me put my own little spin on this lesson, because that's what I love. Thank you for Sharif for putting together all these awesome lessons. I'm a little bit of a math nerd, so this is a fun one for me. Divergence is worth noting here too. When you have the ROC diverging from the price, that can signal a potential reversal. So, for example, if you've got the price making new highs, but the ROC making new lows, that could indicate a bearish divergence. So you've got the price climbing higher, but the ROC is like, oh, like we're not feeling that. We're a little bit lower here. You know what I mean? That could be a sign. Not is all right in Denmark. To paraphrase Shakespeare pretty badly there, and you might get a shake in the price action. You might get that divergence, so be aware of that. Divergence, something we look for here with RSI, sometimes or MACD. You can also look for it in the ROC one. Also, guys, let's talk about the common ROC periods. So common ROC periods include the 9, the 12, and the 26. Those are interesting. Those are not what I would expect.
Neither would I,
periods, right? But the optimal period will depend on the time frame you're using and your trading style. I think that's huge. Another one I just thought of, this is kind of a random one, but you know Danielle Shea will talk about her pre-earnings periods, 21 days heading into the earnings. So maybe, let's say you've got NVIDIA, maybe you want to do it like at the start of their pre-earnings period.
Very interesting.
21 days. Just random ideas I'm coming up with on the fly. But that's the great thing about these is you have to try and true and find your perfect indicator, your approach, your oscillator, whatever word you want to use. And I think here's just some examples. And again, not advice, just my take. You guys figure out what kind of styles you want to use. Maybe if you're a swing trader, you want to use a bit of a longer term. I think it really depends on your style and what you're trying to get out of the ROC. But how do you use the ROC for trading? Well, you want to be identifying overbought and oversold conditions. If you've got the ROC or the ROC reaching extreme levels, so for example, above 90 or below negative 90, that could suggest an overbought or oversold condition in the market. Because I just realized you could do this with the NQ and the SPY as well. Who says you can't? Who says you can't use the ROC? Selena Gomez? I don't know. But seriously, guys, like you could, honestly, this is boundless, and I want to use the rate of change a lot more now because this is actually really interesting. But in addition to looking for overbought or oversold conditions in a stock, maybe you even want to use the SMH. Maybe you even want to use an ETF. There's so many opportunities here with the, I want to use a whole ROC week now. I'm like so into this. But maybe you want to identify overbought and oversold, but also maybe you want to look at divergences or, maybe you want to confirm trends. So rising ROC can confirm an uptrend because it's going up alongside the price, but a falling ROC can confirm a downtrend because you've got the price going up and the ROC moving down, or you've got them both moving down. But what happens when they're not moving together? Identifying divergences. As we mentioned earlier, right, divergences between the ROC and the price can signify potential reversals. So you might be able to ROC the divergence in the ROC before you see it on the price action. Worth noting as well here, the ROC compared to other oscillators. So we talk about a lot of oscillators here. We oscillate between a lot of oscillator talk on this here show. So ROC is going to be pretty similar to some other momentum oscillators like the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, and the Stochastic Oscillator. However, the ROC focuses specifically on the rate of change in the price, so it's a lot more targeted there, the ROC, than the RSI, and the Stochastic Oscillator, because they consider other factors as well.
Get it, Adara.
So, I appreciate that, Sharif. Get it as well. We got go team. But here's some tips for using ROC before we leave you to rock on for the rest of the show without the rock. So you want to be experimenting here with different periods. So try the ROC. Like I said, there's so many different options you have. You would say from last earnings, let's say you want to look at a couple weeks, right? Try different ROC periods to find the one that works best for your trading style and for your time frame. You also might want to combine with other indicators. So the ROC can be combined with other indicators like moving averages or Bollinger Bands to provide more comprehensive signals. But be aware, limitations, Sharif, because they exist. They always do. ROC can generate false signals, especially in choppy markets or during periods of high volatility. So it's not doing the Rock Johnson, but it's a pretty strong indicator that you can use if you want to look here at these markets. I had to end with a cheesy dad joke. That's what I do over here on this desk. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm looking at Apple here because it just found $226 as a level of support. I was looking honestly for the short because it was the second time in a row that it had come into the 10 exponential on the 5 and found a bounce. But what I was negating to account for there was it wasn't just a 10 exponential bounce that I was looking there on Apple at 226, but it was a whole dollar level. So we were talking about 226 being an important level today, initially obviously as resistance when we started looking at it, but that's not what it was earlier. 226 was support before it gave way, and it was kind of like that line in the sand, 226 and a quarter, 226 and a third, and if you looked a little earlier around 745, it was actually 226 itself. So when it came down for the second time in so many minutes to the 10 exponential on the 5, I was looking for a short. But it didn't give you that. And when you were looking at the time in sales, or sorry, not the time in sales, the level 2, there was umpteen amount of buying. Every time it dipped in a penny, 2, 3 below that $226 level, there was aggressive buying and it would jump about 5, 10 pennies a little bit higher. So obviously I don't want to jump in here quickly, but there is something to be had here if we can break above $0.33. That's kind of been where the line in the sand has been, at least with respect to the closing prints. All these closing prints have been 226 and a third or lower. The wicks, on occasion, have got into the 40s, but that ain't the move. That ain't the move. So keeping an eye on Apple here. We've traded a bunch of times. I feel like it's one of the stronger recovery names on the day. It's not green. Only Goggles is green. Google is up 0.33%. Both Goog and Goggles are both up a third. Netflix, which we don't include anymore in the Mag 7, also up a third. Apple down a quarter, but as you can see with the chart, definitely a better recovery than the other Mag 7 names, NVIDIA included. So I'd like to have something, if I'm to take something long, at least for the moment, it feels like Apple might be the one. Okay, on the other side of that is Apple. Yes, it is above the volume weighted average price, but there's a better possible trade here for the long if you can time it right. I'm going to submit to you Meta. So this volume weighted average price here has been obviously very important on Meta on the day because since we reclaimed it at about 5 to 11, we've been a little bit above, a little bit below, showing our propensity to trade around the volume weighted average price. And if I can also make another observation here, the time spent since the reclaim of VWAP at about 11 o'clock, the majority of the time spent is above VWAP as opposed to below. That may influence some of the biases that you have, whether to take this long or short. But right now, what I see is a nice range on Meta, about 520 and a third, but looks like more like 520.40 to the low side on the sell side, and then about 522, maybe 522 and a half to the high side. That's been the range essentially since 20 after 11. There was this one exception over here when we broke the volume weighted average price and came down to 519, but you can see we quickly reclaimed VWAP and then reused it as support. So I'm very interested in a possible breakout trade to the long side on Meta if one manifests here with an obvious area of 522 to 522 and a half. And these two outliers above VWAP here into that 522 and change are not alone. Look at the amount of consolidation that we had around that 522 and a half earlier on. And this is in the implied balance time. Like this is a 9:40 print and this over here is a 10 a.m. print. So very important, I would personally say this 520 to about 522 bucks and change on the day on META. Possibly a trade here rather than punching in at highs through the break of 522 and a half. You could wait for a VWAP retracement in and around, let's just say 520.50. Technically right now it's 520.44. But you could put your resting order at 50 and then give it to the break of 520, which is a decent amount below the volume weighted average price, especially since you've been respecting it for the most part, save and except again for this one outlying error over here. So a 520 break, that's decent. about 50 pennies worth of risk on a name that can give you $1 like that. So not a bad look. Let's see what we can get with Meta right now. Top pink tail candle through 522, down 1.25%. So by definition, going long is a bit of a counter trend trade here, despite the fact that the chart has been putting in these higher lows and higher highs. So that's my look. I'm still biased the most for long on Apple. If I'm taking something long, if the winds of change come on these markets, to me, it feels like Apple or Meta. What's the other side of that coin? Who's the weakest of the bunch? Well, you don't need to go far to find out that Tesla and NVIDIA take the cake there. Tesla's down 3 1/5, NVIDIA's down 2. What do their charts look like, though? Let's chart. Here we go. So Tesla, marginally, and when I mean marginally, I really mean marginally higher lows, okay? So every successive little trough there on the moves down has been higher than its predecessor, but you can see this is hockey stick pattern galore. We haven't been able to hook up and even do the umbrella kind of component of that. Shout out to Adara, right? We've been very hockey stickish because we just can't get back up into any, decent level over here. So first and foremost, I'd be looking short Tesla and then NVIDIA because it's also down 2%. And let me show you the watch list over here. This is my watch list, and you can see microchips. Every single microchip name is negative, with the best here being Taiwan Semi, down 1%. So very, very bearish day, I feel, anyway, on semis. So it's going to be Tesla for a possible short if the market flushes, and then NVIDIA if it goes long. I'm looking Apple, and I'm looking Meta.
Yeah, I guess I'm still on Tesla. I had some issues here getting out of this in the sim. Shout out to the sim at Real Trading. It's like a really good tool. Sometimes, unfortunately, you do not get out where you want to get out. So I was trying to get out of this at like 213.06s. I never got filled. Now we are here, obviously a lot below where I wanted to be here. So just good out here mid-70s. Not the vibe. Adara, manage better next time. But that's what's great here about trading and about this community is, you get a little bit better every single day, hopefully. Okay. That was an L. That being said, why did I want to go long here in the first place? Because I'm aware that is certainly a different look. I agree with Sharif. This is one of the weaker names, but I like the higher low. And also, Tesla, I'm always going to look at the book, right? So when I went to use the washroom there, 213 was holding like crazy. I said, see what it does when you come back. I come back. It's holding 213.20s. Slightly higher lows in the book. That's the type of stuff I like. I'm going to risk this. It's a 212 mid, like 213 mid zeros. So like 06s, right? So we get to 10s. We bounce right back up. I said, okay, they're a dope. But unfortunately, Tesla in the future, not always besties. Today they are. So futures take a move down. Tesla's like, oh, wait, I should do this too. And I'm like, no, here's what that. And then with it, I just wasn't able to get filled, unfortunately. It's a fill that I should have been able to get. Was not able to get there. All good there, baby. Did lose a little bit more than I wanted here. Smaller position in the sim, but still not happy with the management there, Adara. Time to aggressively journal. Just for that. Also, seems like tired hours are hitting, so I'm going to have a sip of this matcha. This Meta, I agree with Sharif. Deeply fascinating here. I feel like I'm much less confident in my read in this than you are because I think you also trade Meta more than I do. But this Meta, I like these higher lows here. I like that 520.50 area. Look at all these wicks into it. Like, to me, I definitely, I don't disagree with your read of a long here, even though obviously, we haven't been, the highest we wicked in here too recently was 522.50s. But we still have higher lows on Meta. So, and Meta, honestly, that 519, as someone who was in the Meta short when we were at 519, that was a crazy bounce. 519 bounced, and then we did not look back. So Meta, I actually do, Zuckerberg slid into the buyer's DMs. I'm joking, all jokes aside. It was like, oh, yeah. So anyways, the point I'm going to make is, I like Meta 519. But, sorry guys, I'm not trading anything right now. I'm not seeing anything screaming at me. If there's any stocks that you guys want to look at, I'd love to look at them for you. Shout out to Tony Price in the chat, I believe earlier was asking about SoFi. I know you generally look at SoFi there, Tony Price. So, SoFi, hello. Not one that I traded. I traded a little bit when I first went live because I was trying to trade different types of tickers, and then I found my way back to my spready expensive children. But SoFi here, I do like how we're holding this area thereabouts view up. Oh. It's not perfect. Now we're kind of rejecting view up a little bit around that 771. However, this is not a bad hold here for me, for SoFi. A little bit of a bull flag. This one was also strong in the pre-market. We were at more than 1%, decent volume, no news that I saw. So SOFI, not so bad for SoFi. Let's take a look at the daily chart too, because on these tickers that tend to move a little bit less in terms of like a dollar basis on an intraday. Oh my gosh, Sharif, look at this. 630, 780. We can break above this area. I think that's a great look for SoFi. I really like this this look here. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Yeah, I think the support at 630 is certainly not bad. I think if we can push back above here, reclaim that $6.90, kind of $8 level, that's definitely not bad for me for SoFi. We're so far from highs, but right now I don't think it's so bad how we're looking here on the daily chart. Also, look at these higher highs, higher lows. Look at that bounce we had off 720s on the daily. Turn it to you, Tony Price. Hopefully you find the right price for your SoFi. Because I think if we can reclaim that 770s here, and we're trying to reclaim 771s here on SOFI, I don't think that's a bad long. If we reject here, I would say we could move back to the downside. But SoFi has been out kind of remarkably strong all day compared to the rest of the market. And we do have volume here in terms of shares traded, 17.6 million. No tickers for me as of right now that I'm trading. Tesla, if you want to reject Tesla, 213.
Yeah, put it on.
I like you, Tesla. So what's happening?
Well, you were talking about Meta earlier, so it got me thinking about Zuck.
The statue?
Adara.
Oh, sorry.
I love it. You okay? So you know exactly what I was talking about. You read my mind.
Statue? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that it was a Roman tradition to make a sculpture, like a thing, like a bronze sculpture of your wife?
That makes sense, but did the bronze sculpture look like that?
Ram, you got it? Wait, Ram, go to the next one. Zoom in a little bit. I love how she's having she's drinking
that matches.
Cup. Yeah,
You and I think the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that part of it is kind of pretty. Like the actual swooping around her.
Like no guy is gonna like Zuck now. Every single man is gonna have a target on the head, not literally, figuratively, of Zuck.
Why is she blue?
Well, then any girlfriend's gonna come be like, "Where's the statue at?"
Yeah.
Right? Where is the statue at? Ram just said precisely. Like, I don't need this.
Precisely, because Priscilla.
Ram, you're starting to pun now. I like it. But yeah, straight up, man. Like, Zuck, take it easy there, bro. You got that yacht. We don't need any more trouble from you.
She looks happy with her statue. I like the little bronze thing around her. I don't know why she's blue. Isn't
that the color that it ends up going, like the Statue of Liberty? Because like if you do it bronze and then it
maybe, but then there's the wrap around her that's like a different color.
Yeah, that's kind of like mirrory.
We went down a beautiful rabbit hole. Thank you very much, Sharif.
You got to be a billionaire first, says Daryl Finch. I mean, come on, right? The first comment. Anyway, wanted to digress there for a second. All right, I'm still of the opinion that Apple is really strong here, guys. Every single time it comes down into 226 is getting bought up. Now we've put in a little bit locally high. But look, let me tell you, the market is not helping Apple at all, because the market has been stuck at 19.6, a little above, a little bit below. That basically takes us back to 11 o'clock. And we've been whiffling and waffling a little above, a little bit below 19.6 on the future since 11 o'clock. We do have higher lows on the future, on the NQ September contract, but you're not really getting that decisive 19.6 take, and that's keeping Apple negative below that $227 area. I want to keep an eye on this one. 226 seems like a good area to get in, so long as I'm going to assume that the whole future holds that general 19.6 area. It doesn't have to be at 19.6. If it holds a general area, maybe we hold 226 on AAPL. Adrian, Apple and Google, stronger names. I know, I do agree with you 100% on that. But my opinion on Google is it's too tightly range bound on the day. It had two outlying events, essentially a pop up on the market open and a quick pop down. And then since that time, it's been quite anemic. It's been putting in higher highs and higher lows here. But we're talking about measuring in pennies, not tens of pennies or 20s of pennies, but literally in actual 1 penny increments. So these are the two outlying moves on Google. It went green to red, now back to green, bamboozling here. But I told Sah Mahmood that I would look at crypto, BTC specifically, for him, and he had a bit of a look there on BTC that I want to have a look at. So let's load up Bitcoin. We're going to go to the 4-hour to start there. Then I'm going to scroll up to see what Sad said. All right, I mentioned something about BTC earlier. On the daily chart, there is a cup and handle pattern forming, and it's been almost 3 years for this to form if the pattern confirms target 110. I'm just going to speak for my own bias and by no means financial advice. I think Bitcoin is going to like 150, 200,000. Do I have any proof of that? No. Do I have skin in the game? No. So I don't have any Bitcoin exposure of any kind. I just feel that this thing is gonna rocket. All right, this cup and handle. I see exactly what you're talking about, Sad. Here it is. So there's the pop in November, the high that we made in November 2021, the crypto winter that we all suffered through in 2022 and 2023, parts of 2023. And here we are above that handle and doing the consolidation area that Sad is talking about there. This is the handle part of the cup with the rounded bottom. Shout out to Big Spile and Michael Noss, who loves to talk about rounded bottoms and rounded tops. And there is the cup and handle. I see what you're saying on that. Completely agree with you that I see the pattern, whether it manifests through the break of 75,000 to touch 100 or whatever it does on the year. We'll have to wait and see. The Katina man is still short the market at these levels. Oh, you're on the T triple Qs? The Katina man is shorting the T. He's still short, I should say, the T triple Qs as the NQ gives up 19.6 yet again, back down to 19.580. The market weak yet again, unable to take 19.6 on a decisive basis, despite the fact that it's been above it a lot today. That means Apple is back down again, and it's looking at 226 again. And so now, decisions to be made. It's been giving you 226 bounces and giving you 30s. Last time around, it gave you above 40s. So what's the move here, Sharif? You going to get in, or are you going to just sit there and talk about how Apple keeps ranging between 226 and 226.5? So let's see if we can get a little bounce up here on Apple. We're continuing to move down the market. I think we just touched 19,575. So we could give way here. I'm seeing Google break down. Tesla now is making new lows. Here comes 126 on NVIDIA. That's been an area that's been defended all morning since 11 o'clock. 126 might give way here. So yeah, the markets are definitely a little bit weaker today there.
Yeah, I really like Tesla as a short here. As I put in the chat, you might have seen me long Tesla. That was a typo trade. I meant to go short. I went long. To be clear, made 10 cents on that trade with lots of shares. Some regrets because I didn't want to be in that trade. But overall, not a bad time. Obviously, did not get the Tesla short I wanted. I did not want to compromise with 212.75s. Once we had that bounce that I accidentally got long in, we pushed all the way up to 80s and then sold off. That being said, we make a whole dollar break here at 212s. You guys know I like my whole dollar shorts. I missed my SPY. I was just looking over what SPY's up to. SPY already did the whole dollar thing, so I missed that. But SPY 560 has been spicy the whole last few weeks here. So if we get another pop at the SPY, that I might actually want eyes on. Both Tesla and SPY curling back above 560 here, as are some of these other names as well. The other name I'm watching here that is kind of interest, though I still have my eyes on the SPY on my order book, which is why my eyes are looking yonder. Meta held VWAP like a charm. It broke VWAP violently. Look where we're now bouncing. That's right, that previous area. Meta, if you want me to take you short 520s again, honestly, qualmless. You know what? You got to choose your fighter sometimes. Of all the fighters, Meta's the one that I like the most at my previous level. We're going to try to get short, exact same place I got short the first time. We're going to take this with more shares. 520.01s. We'll see if we get filled. We're going to risk this into 520.50s because to me that's a pretty clear resistance support level. Happens to be in confluence with VWAP, but that's not why I like it. I know where I'm going to be taking out some profit at 519s because 519s, every time we get to 519s, we bounce violently. I want at least some of the smoke out there at 519s. But if we break lower than 519s, I already have some areas I like. Namely, I like that 518.30s. I like that because there's some chop and turn there on the downside. I don't think I'm going to get filled here at 520.01s. We're certainly pushing lower here on the book. I don't want to chase Meta. The most I will be willing to chase here is going to be 6 pennies. I'll chase the 6 pennies. It's Meta. 6 pennies is I don't think too significant of a chase. We're going to try to get short here 519.96s. Meta, fill me Meta. Come on Meta. I want to have a bronze statue of my future person. Give me him. That was a really weird analogy. But come on Meta. If I want this trade, I want that smoke. Like I said, risking 50 pennies. I don't mind doing that on a stock like Meta because, like I said, I want minimum $1. That's a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. You know who can live with that?
Who?
Me.
Okay.
I can live with that, Sharif.
I like it.
We are, like I said, I'm chasing this like 5 pennies. Again, on a meta, I don't mind a 5-cent chase. I don't love a 5-cent chase, but I'll take it. Doesn't look like Meta cares. I'm not chasing this any further. I'll keep this order in. I think Meta, if we get a little bit of like a dead cat bounce in the market, we can get pushed into that Meta trade. SPY back at 560s. Isn't it hard when you have like reads on way too many stocks and they're all coming to levels at the same time? I chose my horse though. I stepped onto my horse. I stepped into the saddle. Clip clop, suited up here for Meta. I am not SPY. You look so tempting, but I don't care because I've chosen my fighter. My fighter is the META. It's the Meta one. Let's see if Meta slides into my DMs with some profit over here. Shout out to Zuck. I don't want to play Zuck Goose though with this point of entry because right now we are. We're dipping. We're dallying. We're bouncing. Also, you only have 8 minutes left to vote for your ticker of choice. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls for corralling all the votes. We really appreciate everything you do and also helping us with this new segment brought to you by Real Trading. Get into that chat. Exclamation point. Join. Space, $, ticker. Maybe you want to hear about Sean's short and ZQs. Maybe you want to hear about Micron, which I know Sean was involved in. Also, I know Neil was talking about as well. Maybe you want to hear about PDD. They had earnings, and both Sharif and I traded on this desk. I know there was a lot of looking at it on that desk. Maybe Alibaba, sympathy play or antipathy play with PDD. Any ticker you want to look at, get into that chat. Let us know. That is how you vote. I don't know why I'm emphasizing like this, but I'm just really excited by these markets. And Meta did play Zuck Goose with my entry. I don't think I'm getting filled, but if SPY breaks 560s here, that might have to be my new fighter because I'm definitely not getting the Meta. How are you doing over here?
I'm good. Right now, we're about 4 pennies out of the, well, we're break even. On this Apple trade, I'm looking for another 226 retracement. It's been strong at these levels, so I'm giving it the old college try. We still have a higher low, community college try. I don't want to ruin my little saying there. And the whole idea is I'm looking for a 19,550 break. We get that. I'm getting out of Dodge, quite frankly. So we still technically, have a higher low on the future. It's not by much, and it's not really nothing to write home about. 19,550. All right, we just got printed there on Meta. Let's see if we can weasel up a little bit more. 15 pennies in the money. Here we go with 226 again.
Apple?
Yeah, sorry. Did I say Meta?
Yeah,
excuse
sorry,
me.
that's my fault.
bad. Thank you for correcting me there. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking about Meta. I'm looking for a possible look. It's quite ambitious, obviously, but we know that Apple can get up into 226.40-ish on the day. So I'll just leave it. I'll leave it. The stop's in play. It's below the area trough. And that's going to be the situation. So let's see if we can break through 226 after defending 226 for a long time. It doesn't look like we can. It looks like maybe the short is in play, hence why I de-risk. But we'll keep, it's the way it is, Finch. Jane, I see you in the chat all the time. You know how these markets roll. And that's kind of the situation at the moment. What else is there to talk about here? It's 1:44. So you guys got 6 minutes left to get in your vote. You guys know about the afternoon rundown. It's the Katina man, it's the Neil. They drop hot lines all day, but they drop hot lines in that 20-minute segment based upon the tickers as selected by you. The top 5 make it on. They'll give you their look. They'll tell you what they saw, how they traded it. If they didn't trade it, they'll tell you why or how they would have. So make sure you're getting into that chat and you're voting for your favorite ticker every day. Let's see what people are talking about here in the chat and see if they voted for it. So let's scroll up over here. Ronaldo wants to know about SOXS. That's 7% up. Yeah, you know why? Because that's the inverse ETF, and the microchips and the semis are getting killed. Throw that in the chat. Maybe the Katina man will look at it for you. What else you guys got up there? People are talking about TQQQ, the Katina man, short up a storm on the TQQQ. We know that Tesla's in play. Get into the chat right now. Vote for your favorite tickers every day. Henry just voted for PZZA. I don't even know if that's a real ticker.
It is. It's Papa John's.
All right. I guess so. I didn't even know. I love how Adara knows this, what it is. Get into the chat. Join Havana Woody. He wants to talk about coin. So see if other people can vote your way. Piton about to hit $5, says Ron. Vote for Piton. Serve is, I don't know what RR means.
Rich Tech Robotics.
Is what?
It's a different ticker.
Oh, or RR. So vote. Join Hairdresser, says Big Spile. Shout out to the spiled one. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. So shout out to him. Trayvon wants to see Twilio, TTOO. So get into the chat and vote for your tickers every day. All right, I just got stopped at Apple there. as the market is on the way down. So we take a little bit of hit on the rest of them. And the Katina man's printing up $1 in the money. Adara pushed her chair back, and everything is going wild on this floor here. Let's go, says the Katina man. Go down the market. Let's see if we get a bounce here at VWAP. But now you've got the likes of Softy absolutely tanking at the low of day, breaking 412. Softy down 1 to 5th. You've got Amazon on the way down as well into not day low, but local lows. Tesla just printed all day lows. Get it, Adair. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm $1 in the money here in the sim on Meta. Already took profit out here at $1. I said I wasn't going to chase Meta. I said, and I honestly said I switched my interest to the SPY. But the SPY bounced off 560s. I wanted none of that smoke. I said, ew, gross, no smoke for me.
Okay.
So that's me coughing at the smoke. That was. So I switched over to Meta. Meta, which as we had that dead cat bounce in the market at the time, briefly, Meta can't even get back to 520s. Instead of Derry, your short is still valid here. So try the short again. You know what levels you like on Meta. You've been in this short. You've watched this thing move. You know what you like. So I got back involved here, Meta, 519.95s. I initially said I wanted 520.01. So, like, honestly, chasing about 6 pennies for Meta, you never want to chase. But if you're going to chase, let it be 5 cents on a name that is $500. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I'm going to be honest with you guys. So now for Meta, we did get my plan B quarter here at 519s. I said the support at 519s is cray-cray. So I definitely wanted out at least a little bit here. Now, what do I do with the rest of this position? Clearly, I already have a B quarter. Use this button. Shout out to Fabian for making that. And shout out to Ramin and Fabian for killing it every single day. Ramin holding it down on her own here. She's killing it. She brought me this matcha. I am pleased as punch. Thank you, Ramin, for being awesome. And thank you for everybody in this community. But I digress. Meta here. If we can't get that 518.30s, which, by the way, I like because look at all this chip chop and support and resistance, flippity-floopity here on the way down. If we can't get that level, I want to watch to see what we do here at 519.40s. If we get back, because 519.40s, you know, I've been watching. If we get back above 519.40s on the bid, that's where I'm getting out. That is where I'm done for the day, or not done for the day. I'm done with this ticker. I'll take my 50 pennies and I'll leave. You don't have to ask me twice, Meta. Like, cool. But if we can stay below that 519.40s, if we can push back into this 518.50s, I want smoke. I want that DM from Zuckerberg being like, hey, you're in the money. That's what I want here on this here market. So shout out there. 1 minute left to vote, guys. Exclamation point, join space, $ ticker, whatever tickers are fancy, whatever floats your boat, some people said. Whatever short floats your boat, maybe.
Oh.
Whatever ticker you want in there, get it in that chat. You have 1 minute left. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls for putting all of these tickers together. I know I'm speaking fast. I do apologize, but these markets get me so excited, Sharif. I think Meta might be trying to kick me out here, though, because we just got a little bit of a move higher in the bid. It was a fake out. Now we're back below 519s in the bid. My spread watch is on one. Don't like what I said there. That is a weird way of putting that. Let's talk about pickles instead.
I'll take over, I know.
Please do.
Yeah, I've done that too. So, and you and Ram were so nice enough to point it out last week. It was fantastic.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Big Smile wants me to let you know that this is how these markets look at the time. What are those, Big Kyle? Those green beans?
They look like asparagus.
Asparagus, yeah. Spicy asparagus. Okay, that's pretty cool. Pickled. Those are green beans,
Sorry.
right? Yeah,
you're
green
right.
beans. Pickled, spicy green beans, I'm willing to bet, Big Smile. So, yeah. The Ram brings up a good point there. It does look like he threw in some dill there. True. I do
Spicy
see some
dill. That could make sense, right?
Oh, good call, Adira. So, yeah, shout out to the big spiled one. Always, keeping us hungry during the show. So that's a look there.
That was so passive aggressive. You're like keeping us hungry. No, but shout out to Big Spile.
Of course. Shout out to Big Spile Burdette, baby. All right, I'm looking right back here at PDD. Guys, I missed this trade, and this is one thing I want to improve on. I mentioned it multiple times last week, and I want to say it again because it's going to remind me to be that way. I don't want to let these stocks off the hook. The Katina man kills it on that, so does Adara, and this is the head and shoulders that we saw on PDD. I took the neckline break, and I covered it short. Why I looked away and not continue to trade it is beyond me. Why do I get mad about myself for that? Because look at this. I was waxing poetic, using a Dara term, about this 99.40 being the neckline break. Look what happens when we break into 98.40. We come back into 99.40, nary a print above 40. Meaning that was the neckline break that it could have had for another nice 80 penny winner down to 98.60. So I feel like, I definitely need to improve a little bit on that. Hopefully I get a bit better, but this is kind of what I want to see with PDD. I think we might have a second day play tomorrow for PDD. You got to assume that a lot of the money today flowing into the short may not be around at the end of the day. We always talk about the closing print being the more important of the levels because that's where the committed money, the money that stays after the bell and overnight, you always want to see what that money is doing. So definitely down 29% today. Could we have a bounce back day tomorrow? I'm going to leave PDD up on my side charts because I want to see what it's up to tomorrow. Not much time left, before I weasel my way up into the green screen. So I'll just leave you with some ideas over here. First, I want to shout out to Big Spile for a $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Spread watch.
Hey, I know. Guys, we talk for 3 hours a day.
Yeah,
we're going to say stuff we regret.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to say stuff we regret.
Yeah, I felt that way last week too, Adara. Spicy dill pickled green beans. Yeah, we figured exactly that. So, yes, get it, Ram. You saw the dill leaves there. So, shout out to Big Spile. That looks really, really good. The Katina Man is still short the triple Qs at 68.88. That's a lucky number. So hope he prints up a storm there. We're not technically at the low of the day on the NQ September contract, but we did get that neckline break, that area defend that we put in at around noon at around 19,450. That's since gone. Now we're down into the $0.25 level. Apple's at VWAP. Not much else is at VWAP. Even Google is below VWAP here, and Google is a bit stronger. So my bias maintains the same. If the market, for whatever reason, finds a bid, I'm looking long Apple. If it continues to drop like this, look at Tesla, new low a day off that little drop there. Even though the market's not low a day, Tesla just printed low a day, 211.25. So that's the look there. Let's flip to some of the small cap gappers, see what they're up to on the day. Fifi, Faraday Future, only up 3.5. But it's doing its darndest to hold this 20 exponential moving average. Keep an eye on that. Polestar, I'm still of the bias that this mean reverts probably into power hour. It's done that in the past. I think it's just being traded today. I'm assuming it's up 14 2/3 as a result of Canada implementing 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs. That Polestar circumvents that vis-a-vis the South Carolina manufacturing facility, but I still think that this thing mean reverts. GCI has been a very good one if you're looking for a more stable or a less volatile small cap gapper. You'll look at the range per candle there. It's very, very easy to stomach that, though it is coming off the highs. Couldn't take 6 into the 20 exponential. Now goes GCI. I'm all eyes and ears at this area crest over here. I was talking about this area crest earlier. We never got the move back into it, so we haven't had an opportunity to test it. This 550 to 560 area could be an interesting buy opportunity, especially in light of the fact that VWAP is at that area. But first, we got to break down below the 20 exponential on the 5 decisively before we start looking at VWAP. But GCI has been a better name for the small cap gapper moves on the day. MNTS, not so much. GIVO, one of my only losers on the day. This one, they didn't even give you a hold up at VWAP, man. So I don't feel too bad about that. And that's really all the small cap gappers that were really in play today. Kava didn't touch that. Solar Edge didn't touch that. Why is Solar Edge down 8% after being up 10%
it's
in
just
the pre-market?
Who knows, Sharif?
Honestly, bro. Honestly, right? These solar stocks, like if I was in a solar stock, Adara, wow. I'd be a different person right now. I'd be a different person.
I would imagine a very stressed out person.
Yeah, I would imagine
like there'd be like the mustache would be going gray from the stress.
It already is.
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah. Why is Sharif's mom in the chat? Oh, God. Ayo. All right, welcome back. Good luck getting Sharif to eat his veggies. I eat plenty of veggies, man. Neil can prove it.
He does.
I do. You're lying, Ram. You're lying, Ram. But in the eggs is mixed veggies.
They are. He actually showed it to Sharif. He did make me his eggs once, which thank you very much. Those were delicious. There's a lot of veggies in those eggs.
There is.
There's a lot of flavor inside.
Allegedly. Wow.
Allegedly.
Neil, you're going to do me like that,
eggs, Neil.
Neil's going to do me like that. Okay. All right. Anyway, Dara, I'm going to weasel up to the green screen. I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I'll see everybody in about 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Sharif. Best of luck with your weaseling. We will see Sharif gesticulating wildly on that green screen. Again, guys, make sure you vote before 1:50 p.m. every day, 1:50 p.m. Eastern. If you want to be a part of this segment, if you want to have your ticker heard. Also, I'm still in Meta. We're over $1 paper sim in the money here on Meta. And I want to clarify, I'm very happy with this experiment of going in the sim. I might stay in the sim for tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to do some aggressive journaling tonight. We'll see what conclusions, if any, I come to after that. But like I said, my impetus for going in the sim was some meh trading last week. And my goal with going back in the sim was to just kind of focus on just believing in my trades and taking trades for myself, not trades that I think other people would take, not trades that I think I quote unquote should be taking, trades that I'm taking on levels I like, stocks I like with my playbook. In that vein, I think this was a success. I think regardless of profitability, because I did continue to hide my P&L, I think this did well. If we get above 519 here on the bid, I'm getting out. Initially, I was going to risk here into 519.40, so then we dropped a little bit lower, so you got to adjust your exit rules accordingly here. Let's get out here 519. I'm close 519.01s. Let's get out of that because I don't like the way we're like creeping on up here on this here book. You got to trust your read on the book. Hashtag spread watching there, all jokes aside. There we go. So we got out here at 519. 18s got out as we pushed above the bid there on the book. Yeah, shout out to Kyle Burnett saying it was all jokes. Yeah, I know. We joke around here. I know it was a kind of an odd thing for me to have said. So happy with what I did here in Meta. So I actually did just check the P&L now that we're done the day. Up on the day. So that's good. Definitely exciting to, again, not about P&L though. Was about the process, because one thing that, and shout out to the guys in the back, we've had a lot of conversations there. When you have the process, the P&L will follow. My process was all willy-nilly last week because I was like, oh, what trades should I be taking? Why am I trading Lily? It's not a day trade stock. Like, honestly, if you have a plan, if you have a playbook, it shouldn't matter how the trades look. It should matter how you execute them. So, for example, I was able to take this SMCI trade. SPCE, I almost said SPCE again. This SPCE, I was profitable in SPCE today because I had my plan, I stuck with it. That to me should matter. Again, if you have the plan, hopefully the P&L will follow. Again, not any hopium there, but just optimism, maybe. Being optimistic, having your plan, and just knowing that whatever happens there, it'll happen if it ends up happening. Shout out to JF Trader saying, great show as always. Shout out to everybody here. Like, I mean, this is such a fun community. The trend is yo friend, says Monty G. I agree here. The trend is indeed yo friend. We've got Joshua Lee Mallory saying the MACD is looking ripe for a downward trend here. Yeah, the Qs here continuing to get lower. Happy I got out of Meta where I did because I just didn't like the way we reclaimed 519. But the Qs actually very similar looking to Meta here. I would say of the Meg 7s off the top, the Qs are I guess a little bit more bearish than Meta because they're below VWAP here. I like how we had that 574 and some change, had support, higher low, come back down here, wick. So Q's definitely to the downside. I apologize for that sound there, but I don't apologize for being here every single day with this awesome community. Shout out to Monty G there with that advice. Yeah, I think honestly one of the biggest things I've learned from everyone here, from everyone on the show and everyone in the back, follow your plan. If you've got the plan, that's really what has to matter here because progress and learning should be the real P&L you're looking at. With that in mind, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. For now, though, we're going to pass you over to the big kahunas in Sharif at the green screen. See ya.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean, they're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to take the